Hey everyone, welcome back to the IWEP Network, or if it's your first time, welcome hanging out with us. Thank you so much for choosing this podcast, and feedback is always welcome. So make sure to check the links below for all social media links, audio and video versions of this show, and merch. We look forward to hearing from you and hearing that feedback, and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody.
Here we are.
Hi, everyone.
We are back. Episode 20.
Episode
19?
I don't know.
Can't keep track of that. XX, episode XX.
It's episode whatever.
Oh.
It's episode whatever it says in the description is what it is.
Yes.
We are here for the debut of season 3 of the IWEP Network. So if you subscribe to this, obviously you get every show. That's how we work. We don't isolate the shows just on social media, but we're all part of the IWEP Network. I should probably pull this up because I completely forgot to do it. Give us a little rundown real quick, Tori, on what we talked about at the last episode.
Oh, was this the one?
Philadelphia experiment.
Philadelphia experiment.
Oh,
that
yes, that
one.
was the one with my mom.
Yeah.
How could I forget? The Philadelphia experiment was.
I threw her on the spot so I could pull this up.
Yeah, I know, right? It challenges the idea of teleportation, where the idea started with teleporting a ship from, I forget the exact location, to another location.
Yes.
Philly to Virginia?
Yes,
yeah,
it
Philly
was
to
like
Virginia.
it was Philadelphia to Virginia or another place into a different port.
Yes.
So, yeah,
And then back again.
and then back again, and
And I wasn't even here for that.
Yeah. So it's true.
Yeah.
So why don't
He did
you
his
talk,
research.
Nikolai? 'Cause
So-
I don't remember.
Well,
what
I had
did.
to be prepared.
Geez,
I
Nicholas, hot mic over here. All right.
Turn him down.
Shouting.
Mute
you're
him, mute him.
Mute him.
Oh, mute. Oh,
Mute
here.
yourself.
Stop muting, Tony.
Just
Take down.
So
Down.
realistically, this show we talk about ghosts, goblins, cryptids, conspiracies, a little bit of everything, and then we determine whether we believe it or not. I'm sure there's people at this table who are going to believe everything.
It's me.
It's
Or
gonna
me.
do it.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about me. That's fine.
I think
That's
it's a
fine. I'll
combo
take
deal. It's a combo deal. And then and so we're gonna hit you what we know as facts or what we think we know as facts. Dum dum dum.
What they tell you. is
What they
facts.
tell you.
Why do I
Question
sound like I'm in a tunnel?
I don't hear it.
Really?
You sound normal.
It might be
Wait.
the
It
headphones.
might be the
Yeah.
headphones.
Because I
taking
kind
the
of.
shit.
I think you're just having a stroke.
It sounds like I have a cold, but I don't.
Yeah.
So
You're
I don't know
healthy.
to me it does.
Yeah, so that's kind of the premise of the show here. Tonight we do have a main topic. We're going to get right to it in a second, but I do want to thank one real quick. The new season 3, we do have a sponsor to the show now, so we're officially sponsored, so which is super exciting. So, thank you, huge thank you to Abaddon Tattoo Studio. It's a unique professional experience nestled in the small town of Pine Grove, Pennsylvania.
Right on the main street.
Yep, I
Yeah.
will be going there immediately following banging beers on Sunday for my new tattoo.
Oh,
Very
they tell you not to drink
exciting.
before a tattoo. What are you doing?
Oh.
What? That's a terrible commercial. Let's
Why
start
do
over.
they say
Rewind.
that?
They don't want you to make a bad decision.
It thins
Yeah,
your
but-
blood,
Yes,
actually,
you could
and then you
bleed
bleed
more.
more. And
Yeah.
then when you're tattooing,
Okay.
more blood
bleed
comes
like,
out.
I bleed like a pig anyway. But it's not a huge tattoo. But
Well, I don't have a tattoo. That's why I'm asking.
let's go get one.
No.
You don't want any tattoos?
Um,
okay.
Okay.
So they,
I
like I
wouldn't
said,
know what to get.
on the small town of Pine Grove, they provide high quality tattoos and piercings in a relaxed, professional, and sterile environment. The links are below. You can call them, make an appointment, or hit up their Instagrams or Facebooks. Research the artist there. I will say this personally. That tattoo shop for me, you know how like sometimes you go to a tattoo shop and you're like, man, that one guy is fucking good, or this one girl is really good, and you're like, there's no chance none of you other fuckers are touching me with a gun. Like I'm not getting tattooed by you. Everyone there is fucking talented.
How many artists do they have?
Awesome.
Do you know? All right, put you in the spot here. Other than
So before they had
the girl. Sorry, I don't
five,
know her name.
Kira.
Okay.
Kira was the only tattoo
Oh,
artist.
she's not there no more, right?
She not. Her and Bishop went to North Carolina. Yeah, they went to heaven. North Carolina, Texas. But they do come back and
Okay.
they still
North
do
Carolina,
guest spots.
Texas?
Either one of those spots. They
Not close at all.
I was going to say, which one?
They no longer live in Pennsylvania, but
they bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
But Amber, who is apprenticing to be a tattoo artist, I will be getting one of her apprenticeship tattoos on Sunday.
She posts some
Yay.
good stuff, like what her work that she's posted.
I'm getting a devil tattoo, and it's
Great.
not going to be my face.
Oh, okay.
Not that devil.
Well, it's kind of weird to get yourself on yourself.
I
That
don't
is
care.
very
I already
true.
have myself myself.
Me already
Really?
thinking that
Oh, I didn't know.
I have
me
me-
already thinking that
Oh,
I
you
want to
do?
get me as my alien
That's me-
tattooed. Like,
That's me as a
oh.
baby.
Oh, I didn't know
That's me
that.
kissing my grandmother.
Whoa, did you kiss your
Aw.
grandma with that mouth?
I used to. She's passed.
Sorry.
She's dead.
I used to.
Aw.
Sorry, I have dark humor.
Hey, it's a supernatural paranormal podcast.
Maybe she's here.
Yeah.
I was
According
gonna
to
say
yeah.
we're gonna do a
Keep
seance
talking.
And
really
maybe
quick.
she tried talking the Ouija board, but nobody would let her
Nobody-
talk.
Nobody
Yeah.
believed it.
Oh,
Nobody.
listen, if she wanted to talk,
Nobody.
she'll come through.
Nobody.
She's an,
just so you all know.
she's an Italian broad. She would have got through easily. Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm getting him from the Powerpuff Girls tattooed on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, floating on a cloud. It's awesome looking.
With his lobster hands.
Mhm.
Yes, that's so cool.
Yeah. And his big
Like-
big thigh high boots.
Yeah.
Heck
Are you,
yeah.
are you getting?
I
Oh, you getting the
forgot
whole
about
body?
him.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit more, Andy.
Holding the gears iced tea.
I can't. It sounds
Yeah.
like
You project so
Yeah,
I
well.
have
you
a-
do project very well.
You should be a
a
stage
cold?
actor.
Yeah.
and I'm in a tunnel. That's what it sounds like right now.
It's
I
probably
don't know
just
why.
your
And
head.
you almost died earlier.
It's
Your
weird.
mic sounds great to me.
No.
Yeah.
okay.
You are. You're just having a stroke.
You almost
Yeah.
died.
I was choking that
You almost died.
big beef and cheddar.
Yeah. just-
When he couldn't
You were-
swallow
yeah.
and he
Oh, yeah,
almost
sorry.
died.
He almost
I have a
choked.
small
Remember-
throat.
Remember when?
But yeah, so that's kind of the premise of the show. If it's your first time, if you are here, make sure you hit this like, share, subscribe. If you're listening on audio, if the platform does have a thing, you could do a review. It really helps us out. Spread the word. Audio plays have been doing very fucking well.
That's
I think dialing the show back has been helpful. I think instead of doing a show every single week, I think doing once a month or maybe twice a month. We'll talk about here in 1 second. Usually, all right. So normally we're not going to go this deep in the beginning. We're going to go right to the topic, but we are getting us caught up in an idea what's going on because we are making some changes to the show. We're kicking around the idea of a Patreon. We're going to try it for a month or two. If you guys are receptive to it, we'll add more tiers and think of more cool things to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to record a bonus episode once this one's over. And that bonus episode will go to Patreon the next day or the day after. And I think we're looking at like a $5 thing. So you'll get the bonus episodes, and we're going to give you a discount code or free shipping, whatever we figure out, towards our merchandise. So if you buy merch, you can get it free shipping or vice. We'll figure something out. But we are looking to spread out this season 3, level 3, season 3.
Level 3.
To make not I mean it's not make or break for us to make a buck on this podcast, but we got new microphones. We've been
Yeah.
doing really, really well, but
Getting a new board.
there is some new things we want to try or things we want to try out. And like I said, we're spreading it amongst 5 shows and there's some cool things, and it helps to throw a couple bucks in our pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This stuff's not cheap. So if you are someone who truly supports us, this is a way you can do that without, if you don't want to buy a shirt or if you don't want to hit the donation button. Even if you don't have money, we understand times are tough. We're not asking that for all. We're thankful you're listening. We're thankful you're sharing. We're thankful you're
Yeah.
engaging in the comments and showing love. It means the world to us. But this is for the people who, if they want to, it's there. Yeah.
That made me think of the preacher guy. Don't you stop tithing.
Yes.
Don't you stop giving.
Really, what we're trying to say is we don't want to fly commercial with those
COVID-19.
with those devils. We need a private jet. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. We want to get to a higher level of
Of
our
a
cult.
private
I
jet.
mean,
Of
podcast.
existence.
Higher level.
Existence.
Cult or
of consciousness.
podcast or both.
The world may-
Dianetics.
The world may never know. But yeah, like I said, we have new merchandise. That is the official logo now.
Look at us.
Look at our
so
faces.
pretty.
Look how cute we are.
Super cute and colorful.
So the
Look
shirt
how
will be,
cute.
if you look at the merchandise store, the front of the shirt will be the Truth Behind Illusion with that really cool green splash.
Okay.
And then the back of the shirt is
What's
our
that?
faces.
That's cool. I like designs on the front.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
I do
have
too.
now we have front and back shirts.
Whoa.
And
Moving
then
up.
you can buy
Moving up.
masks
Son of a
with
gun.
the Truth Behind Illusion on the front, or you can get a mask with our faces on it. So there's
Choices.
choices. Yeah. We said we're going to take stuff away from the merch page, and we added more.
Yeah.
We lied. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
But
oftentimes Public we're on, right? Or what are we on? What's the website?
Teespring.
Teespring.
Teespring. A lot of
Teespring.
times they run sales.
Yeah.
Like over site wide, and just
Yep.
put in the coupon code and you save like $5.
Yeah, and another thing we may do too is if for the Patreon, we may make like a secondary Teespring or something like that
With dirty shirts.
with dirty shirts, with naked Andy shirts. No,
It's just the boys with boobs.
Whoa.
and the girls with penises.
Yeah. Wait. Hey
Yay.
now.
Yay.
No, we may bring back like a logo that you guys can only get if you're Patreon people. Maybe
Oh,
maybe
okay.
we'll do
Yeah,
that.
that's
Like,
a good
hey,
idea.
you want the devil shirt or the alien shirt or a special edition shirt? T-shirt. And your Patreon will not just be for Truth Behind Illusion. It will carry over to Not Cool in High School, interviews, everything. It's the like I said,
network.
it is the network's Patreon.
Yeah.
So it's not just for one page; it's for all of them.
More bang for your buck. There you go.
All access pass.
And we're all about banging, ladies and
This
gentlemen.
is a sexual innuendo podcast. I hope you can handle
You
it.
sounded like Alex Jones there for a second.
Hey.
All right. Well,
We're all about banging there. I was gonna say, what a segue.
speaking of Alex Jones, let's talk about how we're turning the frogs gay.
Oh boy.
All right. So we are
This time
talking
we're not turning the frogs gay. The CIA is turning the frogs gay.
turning all of us gay.
With
yeah.
their gay stimulus.
I don't want that gay stimulus. Such a
Lib-
good meme of Mitch McConnell.
Liberal left.
Anyway.
So tonight we are talking about Project MK
MK
Ultra.
Ultra.
So
Dun, dun, dun.
I'll-
I always think Mortal Kombat. In my mind, there is a MK Ultra.
there is. It's a video game.
No, there isn't. It was a Mortal Kombat Ultimate, and everyone thinks that's MK Ultra
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at that.
because it puts MKU, and you
Yes.
kind of associate the two.
Oh, okay.
there it is.
Yeah,
What if
Hidden.
that's
but they
another
should.
hidden in
Yeah.
plain
What if they
sight?
do that way to bury that real MK Ultra? Because then when you type in MK Ultra, the game will
That's
come
a
up
part
first.
of MK Ultra where it's just.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we're
I
gonna
got
do it.
powers
So here's-
from drugs.
I'm just
baby.
gonna let you know. I think one of us is gonna go down this path of MK Ultra,
Mhm.
and we're gonna say the facts, and then the other one's gonna take us down wormholes.
Well, there's lots of wormholes.
There's a million wormholes.
Before we fully get into this, I did listen to I think the podcast is called just Supernatural with Ashley Wells, I believe her name is. She does a podcast. She did a really good job at MK Ultra, so you can go
Nice.
check out her podcast, and then you can also check out Chilluminati, which I'm a fan of that show. I think they do
Yeah.
a really good job.
They have good on-air personalities as
Yeah,
well.
and they're scripted, so like they're way more structured than us. We're just kind of fucking winging it. you
Maybe
know?
we should start doing that. I guess
No.
That's a lot. That's a lot of work.
That one that I listened to, the Kryptonaut podcast, the guy types up the whole story that he reads, and he's like very wordy,
Yeah.
like in different words and stuff.
I
was like,
like-
wow, that's impressive. That's a lot of work.
That is a lot.
Imagine
of work.
typing up like an hour's worth of
If-
conversation.
yeah, I
dang.
well, a lot of
And
those
then the other
guys,
guys just bounce
yeah,
off.
a lot of those
Good for
guys
him.
only do one podcast,
Yes.
and they make money, and
And
they
the-
hire people to write those scripts.
Yeah, and they might not have a
Mm.
job. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So-
might be their job.
I like the free flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
may
do
sound
too.
unprofessional, but fuck it, we're fucking.
What part of us is
If we came here
professional
for an
anyway?
hour and we all read from people,
I'm eating
you're
gummy
coming-
bears and drinking
Oh
beer.
wait, they read from it?
yeah.
If you're coming
Oh.
here for professionalism,
It doesn't
you're coming
sound
here
like
for the
they
wrong
script.
reason.
They
We're
literally
real people here.
like I'm going to be reading a lot from Wikipedia
I thought you meant
I have an
like,
article up as well.
and then interjecting what I've heard from their podcast
Gotcha.
into the Wikipedia.
I thought you meant like they type out this script and they're like, okay, here's your lines, and like
No,
it's
a lot-
like
well,
a
a lot-
giant like.
sometimes like the one guy will type up a whole story and he'll read from that and they bounce off him.
Okay.
Mhm.
yeah, and then they'll like interject like, "Wait, what? They didn't
Yeah.
like it's kind of like what we're gonna do
Them
tonight."
sons
but
of bitches.
but they're
So they got the giant cue cards over in the corner. that
Yeah.
says, what?
Yeah. But no, like, so like they'll do like they'll take the Wikipedia article and then highlight the really important stuff and then script that and then make a script out of
Okay,
it and then they
dissect
read it.
it.
Yeah, and then they dissect it. They do an amazing job. So Chill Illuminati podcast, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
They have a new fan, new listener. I'm excited for them.
Same. They're really
I know the one you like,
Kryptonaut.
Kryptonaut.
Yeah, they only talk about monsters and, well, sometimes aliens. and ghosts,
They're on
too.
like a 5-part series of
A Mothman.
Of Mothman.
Yeah, it's really good. They,
Yeah.
The fifth part came out today. Listen to it already, and the sixth part comes out next week. It's very
I've been
good.
on a really big deep dive of podcasts, listening to different conspiracy ones for this, and then listening to pop culture ones like video game news and stuff.
Yeah.
Listening to PlayStation podcasts, Xbox podcasts.
Wow. Well, you got that's cool. You can
with
work and listen to podcasts.
Yeah, with my job, I could throw headphones on and just
Yeah.
go to town. Like people probably see, and some people from the job have been seeing my masks and stuff, and they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a podcast I run." So there may be some people listening from the job who
Awesome.
are maybe new fans or just
Oh,
like,
cool.
"Fuck that guy."
Well, then fuck them.
I was just gonna say welcome.
We'll go to
Welcome,
what's the
Tony's
opposite of American
coworkers.
Eagle?
Oh, don't.
Oh. Oh, well.
It is what it is now. It's out there in the universe. No, it's a great job. I like we're allowed to wear these special headphones where you can work and listen to stuff, and I just
You
go.
put it on your temples to
Yeah.
keep control of
Yeah,
you.
a lot of places don't allow any headphones.
It's beautiful. You go in there, and I just my job. One of my main things, like I walk around, just problem solve and fix stuff. So I put the things on, and I'm just in the zone, and I get shit done. And then I kind of see somebody, but like I said, I do that weird white people thing where I smile. But now that I'm wearing a mask, I can't do that.
That's why you just do that.
So I'm trying to learn how to
Give
head
him a
nod,
nod.
more. Yeah,
Yeah.
or like a little like hey or like a devil, like too sweet.
That's why I just go.
Yeah.
Why don't you give him a little bit of
wave like Forrest
what's
Gump.
it? I take my thumb and my fair finger and I go yeah.
No, don't do that. This is well, I'm not even doing it because like if you touch your fingers together
Yeah.
now, it's racist.
Oh, is it?
boy.
Wait, what?
No, this was
don't
not
know.
Charles Nelson Riley.
The AOK sign has
Oh,
now
really?
turned into
Really?
white power.
Oh, that's
Listen.
ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Anything
my.
can be turned racist.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think racist people
my.
took it and they were like,
That's
we,
ours.
we
We like
know what
that.
it means.
We like that.
And then like some dumb white kid like me who doesn't know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, that's AOK. And they're like, racist!
Oh my God.
Because we're all mind controlled. Let's get
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
Project MK Ultra, also called the CIA Mind Control Program.
Now, do you think someone was like, mind control, MK? And they were
Yes.
like, Pete, no.
That's not how you spell control, Pete.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does
sorry,
MK
guys.
stand for anything?
The what?
Does MK stand for anything?
I'm sure it does.
Let's see if we.
I think
There
they
may be
tried to
something
be
in
witty.
here.
Or were they
Yeah.
big Mortal Kombat fans because they had a time
It's
machine?
the guy's initials.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know.
No, it's
Michael
not.
Keaton.
Yeah.
Michael
it's not.
Keaton.
Now, before we get into this too, if you don't know anything about MK Ultra, obviously we're probably not going to give you too much information because we're going to be bouncing all over the place, and we're kids with ADD. But like I said, the Chill Illuminati podcast did a really deep dive on
Did 5 episodes. I think,
everything that
Wow.
led up to
Okay.
MK Ultra, like some stuff, some World War II shit, and like stuff that they were doing that was even fucked up then. And they kind of umbrella MK Ultra even longer than it actually was. But then when it officially became MK Ultra is when they really turned up the heat.
Because there was a lot of lead up to something like
A lot
this.
of lead up, yeah.
And there was a lot of international people that were sought to bring them
We
together.
literally, as a nation, created international war crimes, international crimes on people, crimes in our own country. We sprinkled almost bioweapons on our own people at some point with this program.
It's insane.
We
I was gonna say,
Intergalactic
give
theories?
a quick synopsis of what
it
is.
leads into prostitution. It leads
Yeah.
into illegal drugging people. There's a lot of
Sick.
lots and lots of people died because of this, and this.
They're unwilling and mainly unwilling
Yeah.
individuals, like individuals in like mental institutions or people that would go
Incarcerated.
or incarcerated. Or another theory that people have is, well, theory and documented, that like concentration camps. Dachau was one where like the German concentration camp where they would specifically do tests on the captive people.
Yeah.
For that.
So the weird thing with this is a lot of the stuff that happened during World War II and the Nazi doctors, where they were testing on people, our American government was like, hey, instead of going to prison for your war crimes, we're going to hire you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna wipe your slate clean.
Sick.
And we'll erase
But-
everything, and we'll bring you in. You continue to do what you're doing
Yeah.
in China or another country. We'll fund it, and then eventually you may or may not take over the FBI or CIA.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't all right, but they did get like the Nazi doctors did find a lot of good stuff for medical. I mean,
did.
yeah, it wasn't. It didn't go about it the right way.
I was gonna
Absolutely.
say at what
but
cost?
I mean,
Yeah. So it's like,
You
yes,
know.
we know how to amputate.
you cure less people than
Yeah.
you've killed.
Yeah, we know now that if we create, if there's a chemical warfare out there, we know how to counteract it. We know how to create things like snake venom, and we know how to fix amputees or separate people that are conjoined to it. All of that was because they tested. They're like, hey,
well, oh, you go.
we're gonna cut your arm off and attach it again.
Yeah.
Well, what they would do also is they would take Siamese twins and they would literally do surgery on them to like remove them apart to try to.
They figured out organ donors pretty much.
Yeah,
Like,
and they
what-
tried
which,
to see. They tried to see if one twin, like if they would lock them in like different rooms and whatnot, and they would cause pain, like which is documented. Pour acid on one of them, would the
Yep.
other one feel it?
Yeah,
So sick.
It's the idea of like that
mental connection.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing of this was mind control, right?
yes.
To
yeah.
Yeah.
use
A lot of mind
ways
control.
to control people for like a military aspect.
A lot of mind
And
control.
if they get powers, great. Because,
Yeah.
if you could put something in someone so that they can go into a building and then control everyone with their mind,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
It's basically, they were
They'll
basically
take over.
trying to
Make a super soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Manchurian Candidate,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to make super soldiers. They're trying to do spy shit.
Yes.
which 007 was 100% created to make the CIA look like super cool people.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that James Bond would do, like the crazy, like the thin needles and a little thing in the shoe, and
That was real.
that was all fucking
Well,
real.
Wouldn't you? I mean,
It's all stuff
like,
they actually try to do.
Yeah.
a spy in real life isn't going to just like walk in and be like, "All right, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I wish I had some
Or
gadgets
like-
or
or
something."
like-
You know, like
just think of the craziest shit they just bond. We're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit him with this tiny needle, and he's gonna have the effects if he's drunk or sedated or high.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to make that
Yeah.
shit.
And they did.
Yeah.
They were trying to make it, and they did. And then what they do a lot with pop culture and all that kind of stuff is to make it to kind of, this goes again with the brain control, to program the idea of, oh, that's too crazy. It's only in the movies.
Like the Men in
it's too
Black.
crazy. It's only
It's
yeah.
Yeah.
we don't know what came first or what, because about that time when the guy left MK Ultra, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. But when the
Yeah,
guy left
that's
MK
okay.
Ultra to go into the spy program is around the time the James Bond movies are coming out.
Okay.
Yep.
So how much of it was he watched the movie and be like, wonder if I can do that? I have funds. They're paying me. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, because realistically they're not dumb people who they hire to do this. They're
God,
Well,
no.
You know what I mean?
Why would you?
So there's that line where it's like, it's kind of like Vince McMahon where he goes and watches a movie and then he's like, this will be a great idea.
Yeah. And
You
it
know what
could
I mean?
be from 30 years ago.
But it's like, which came first,
Yeah.
the product or the show?
Yeah.
You
All
know?
right. So MK Ultra, we got 2 lines into this, so
Yeah.
we're kicking ass. Is a code name given to a program experiments on human subjects that were designed and undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, some which were illegal, most. Experiments on humans were intended to identify and develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations in order to weaken the individual's forces and weaken the individual and force confessions through mind control. The project organized through the Office of Scientific Intelligence of the CIA and coordinated with the U.S. Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. Other code names for drugs-related experiments were Project Bluebird and Project Artichoke.
And the government did say, yes, we did do this, but we stopped. So, I mean,
Yes.
it's not like
Which-
it's a story that, like, rumored.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
they actually said we did do
So-
this.
Yep, they confirmed it.
So it's one of those things where it's like, this isn't a conspiracy theory. Now there are people who take it
The
and
branch-
and
yes.
take it in branches, and they think, well, if they were to do this, and we figured out this is a conspiracy, and we want to tie them together, everyone kind of ties it to, well, if MK Ultra was hidden for as long as it was hidden, and everything before MK Ultra that we found out because it was hidden, like this was the first, and then like this Watergate, and then kind of
What
opened
else
the
is hidden,
doors
yes.
to everything that the government did that they didn't destroy or tried to destroy, because this program was, spoiler alert, tried to be destroyed, but some of it came true, and then people came out and talked about it. This is where the conspiracy theories go, oh, it's too stupid to believe. Bang! This is legit proof that something like this happened,
Yeah.
which then turns everyone for the history of time into conspiracy theorists, and they're not wrong for thinking that this could be something that's bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't get mad when someone says I don't believe in I'm not taking a vaccine, or I don't believe this is a pandemic. You know what I mean? Obviously, the numbers are proving that people are dying. This is all a thing. But we've also been taught through something like this is they can straight up lie to us, and most people
3,000%,
Yeah.
yes.
and most people didn't give a shit when they found out.
yeah,
Well, they're like, we got to win
Yeah.
that war.
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's very touchy. Yeah.
yeah. It's touchy and it's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, because people and they literally took advantage of people who were very fucking vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
and
there was
most
like
people are. Most people are idiots. When you start talking about, like, what have you heard about the thing, the
wait,
riots in Washington?
Wait to hear
you
some.
probably
of these,
heard all kinds of
wait
stuff
to
in
hear
2
some of
days,
these stories
you know?
where that MK Ultra created.
well, I mean, there is definitely like the one that the one case of like the MK Ultra and like all that kind of stuff that I follow is there was a woman that went to therapy because she had like depression or like
Yes.
postpartum depression and whatnot, and she went in, and her therapist then led her to doctors, and the doctors were basically like, oh, we'll take care of it, and made her a
Junkie.
junkie and got her hooked on like LSD and all these kinds of drugs and whatnot to kind of just, and like that's like why like pharmaceuticals scare me so much, because it's just like,
We'll get into that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but it's like it's just that kind of stuff, and it just leads everybody to just be like,
Yeah,
so
someone-
that's why I'm such a conspiracy.
if
it's like-
someone
theorist on
tells you it's all right,
everything.
well, you're like, well, the doctor wouldn't lie to me.
It's like I have a headache,
When you know
and they're
they're-
telling me to take this pill, but do I
Yeah.
really want to take it? Anyway,
Don't take it. Chewables.
the operation was officially
Not gonna
sanctioned in
fuck with kids.
1953 to reduce the scope, reduce scope in 1964, and further cultivated in 1967. It was officially halted in 1973. Wow.
Officially.
So It went
That's
from
almost-
1953 to 1973. Now, there's still ties to this of other stuff if you want to go check out that happened way before even 1953.
So that's almost 20 years, right? Do my Howard Stern math?
Yeah.
10, and
The
10.
program also engaged in illegal activities, including the use of U.S. and Canadian citizens and unwilling test subjects, which led to controversial regardings of legitimacy. The MK Ultra was used in numerous methods to manipulate its subjects and mental states and brain functions. Techniques include the covert operations and high doses of psychologic drugs, especially LSD, and other chemicals, electroshocks, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, as well as other forms of torture. The scope of the MK Ultra project was broad, with research undertaken at more than 80 institutions, including colleges, universities, hospitals, prisons, pharmaceutical companies. The CIA operated using front organizations, although sometimes top officials at these institutions were aware of the CIA's involvement. So some people took money, didn't even know they're getting paid by the CIA, and were doing these tests on people.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the own CIA agents as well signed themselves up
Yes.
for the prostitution ring.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Investigations were also hampered by CIA Director Richard Helms. Ordered the MK Ultra files be destroyed in 1973. The Church Committee at the Rockefeller Center Commission, that says rich,
Rockefeller.
investigation to relief and sworn on testimony of direct participants of the relatively small number of documents that have survived. Helms' destruction order in 1977, a Freedom of Information Act, was requested, and a cache of 20,000 documents relating to the MK Ultra, which led to the Senate hearings later that year. Some surviving information regarding MK Ultra was declassified in 2001, and also in December of 2018. Declassified documents included a letter from a unidentified doctor discussing his work on 6 dogs made to run, turn, stop via a remote control and brain implants.
Wow.
Yep.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, so they were putting stuff in dogs
Yeah.
to make them like remote control cars.
And
could
what
do
was that in
that.
like 2001? Is that what you said?
Well, that was then declassified in 2001,
Declassified in
but they were
2001.
working on it in that
Back in the
period.
day.
back in
Now,
the
did
day.
they,
Back in,
did
like,
they
the
have one central
Times
like,
of the Cold War.
MK base, or was it just all?
It was
like,
everywhere.
Okay, just
Yeah,
different places.
it was all over the place. There's a lot of bases that we'll probably get into here. Like I said, this is Wikipedia, so full credit to them, whoever wrote it. And obviously, Wikipedia can be edited, so.
Mhm, Lots of people
Yeah,
contribute.
but if there's something that's crazy here, then I apologize. But for the most part, what I'm reading and what I research is pretty on base. I didn't want to take someone's exact script from another show or a podcast
Yeah.
and
Right.
recite it. Wikipedia is kind of, but I'm kind of just putting it out there. You can make your own
Sure, there's
decisions,
some other
and then,
sites
and then
with
we can
lots of
talk
info
about
too
what
as
we've
well.
learned.
I mean, you
yeah.
could look up the disclosed CIA documents.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all
the
right
New
there.
York Post has a 178-page thing that I sent everybody.
Yeah, I
I
saw
don't know if
that.
anybody looked
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
it. It's
And that's-
178 pages, but
And which is also interesting because in those files and in like the disclosure for MK Ultra and everything that they did, they have specifically in there, and I say this all the time, that the term conspiracy theorist was created and coined by the CIA
Yeah.
to put that idea in people's heads where if they start asking too many questions, then the social norm is to say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist and you're
nuts.
crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, to take away power from people who know the truth, which
And
is not cool.
Yep.
Why also when they did their experiments, they did it on participants who were already deemed to be not mentally competent. So if they
Right.
came out and said they're like,
Yeah, they're like, well, he's
"Weren't
nuts
you-
anyway.
weren't
Yeah,
you
well,
just-
he's a convict.
you just
so.
came out of fucking prison or a mental
Yeah,
He
institution,
just
what do
came
you
out
know?
of 5P.
and you're saying the government put a chip
Yeah.
in your head. Okay, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were very methodical in what they were doing in that process, and like I said, taking advantage of people. And
It's preying on the weak and downtrodden.
100%.
Yes.
Which is what our world has been built on. So
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Look at any televangelist.
We're not we're not
Yeah.
upset at the government for fucking us, but we're upset for a poor person getting government handout. It's like, what? Okay. Anyway,
I was gonna,
let's move on.
your ideas are in your heart is right, but your thoughts are in the wrong.
The project's
area.
original, intentional, obscure CIA I'm sorry. The project's
Obscure?
intent. I'm also dumb, by the way. So they're the CIA cinnamon.
Cinnamon. They put drugs in the
Yes.
cinnamon.
is made up of diagraph of MK, meaning the project was sponsored at the agency's technical services staff, TSS, followed by the word Ultra, and had previously been used to designate most of the secret classifications of a World War II intelligence and other cryptonyms, including Project MK Nami.
Naomi.
Naomi, sorry, MK Naomi, and Project MK Delta.
Oh.
So these are the two programs that, if you really want to take a deep dive on some fucked up shit, go check those out. they were pretty much learning how to do chemical warfare. And if you think the bombings of
Hiroshima.
and Nagasaki were bad,
Yep.
that was only done because they were like, this is cooler looking. They were literally working on chemicals that they were going to unleash on people. And here we are now on a global pandemic where now they can't corral it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, scary shit. The origin of the so another quick thing too, for the people who are mad because this virus, that's what you're being told. No, I'm joking. But this virus was created in China, and they're your question: why would they even create it? Well,
Right.
they're creating it for the hopes if a strain gets
Yeah, but it won't.
strains do change.
Yeah, but it,
They do.
A virus
yeah, but it
can
won't appear out of nowhere. Something
Yes.
That's
new
true.
won't appear out of nowhere unless you create it and introduce it.
incorrect.
true.
The virus, the flu.
If
has-
I don't build the robot,
Right. The
we don't
robot
have to
ain't
build a
coming.
laser to
we
destroy it.
have organisms and viruses already within our system. So
Yes.
if you go to another country, their area has developed viruses and stuff, and they create vaccines. So if you're flying to another country, there may be times where they're like, hey, if you're going to go to this country, or if you're a military person, you have to take vaccines to
Sure.
go to a place that has a
Yeah,
different
but
type of viruses than we
China
have.
is
That
China's a
virus
good
already
example of that.
exists in that place.
Right.
Yeah,
That
So-
makes
The virus
sense.
doesn't exist in the world.
But those
Why would you
viruses,
create it?
those viruses always mutate and transfer
Yeah.
and evolve into new viruses. So what they do is they take that virus and make it evolve, and then try to reverse engineer it to make a cure or a antidote for it.
But if they didn't make it stronger, they wouldn't have to worry about making it weaker.
But it's kind of like trying to be ahead of the problem.
But it creates more. But it seems
Again,
it makes
if I
more
make
problems.
Skynet, we don't have to build Arnold to send him back to stop Skynet from being
Yes.
built. Because
Yes,
I
it's a
don't
double.
build it.
It's a huge double-edged sword. Is essentially what it is. Like,
It's weird.
so we're mad at China because they did this and it got released, and here we are now.
Chinese
But
flu.
literally, we were doing this to the world
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sure they had some
in the
yeah,
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And who's to say those scientists in China that were working on that were not together with other scientists
Yeah.
internationally that were working? So I mean,
or
if we're
maybe that facility is just a remnant of what we were using before and built and used as already from this thing.
I mean, whoever the I think it was I mean, now we're going way back into what was it, the project whatever
Ooh.
731 Project Runway.
Yeah.
What was it, the Project 731 where they were infecting fleas with viruses
Or like
to give to
bionauts.
yeah.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
botany things where they were like I don't know.
When they did it in
inject food
Japan,
and
and
shit.
like they, along with the Nazi scientists, they brought in the Japanese guy too, who was the head of the Project 731 in Japan.
One of the big
whatnot.
criticisms. One of the big criticisms.
Units,
The
thank you.
reason why we were so hard on the Japanese is because they were so ruthless to people,
Yeah,
and
back
they
in the
were
day,
back
yeah.
in the day. But then you go back and look at World War II. We literally hired them people. They're like,
Yeah.
wait, you were doing this to
Yeah,
them?
and it's
Welcome
all,
to America.
Yeah, and it's all propaganda. We
Yeah.
got to be afraid of this person. We got to be afraid of the Soviets. We got to be afraid of third world countries.
Yeah.
I have an enemy. You can't have a hero if you don't have an enemy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to
exactly.
butcher names. I butcher names regardless,
That's okay.
and
Well,
there's some
Gi-
names
give
in
them to
here.
us and we'll pronounce them.
All right.
Just initials. all
According to
initials.
Stephen Kinzinger, Kinzer,
Kinzer.
the CIA project was a continuation of the work began in the World War II era Japanese facilities and Nazi concentration camps on subduing and controlling human minds. Kinzer wrote that the MK Ultra's use of mescaline and unwilling subjects was a practice that the Nazi doctors had begun in a Dachau concentration camp. Kinzer proposed
That's the big
evidence. Yep. He proposed evidence of the continuation of the Nazi agenda, writing that CIA's secret recruitment and the Nazis' tortures of visotechnologists, I don't know, to continue experiments of thousands of subjects and Nazis brought to Fort Detrick, Maryland, to instruct CIA officers on lethal doses of sarin gas. And then this is going to go into their aims of leadership. The project, headed by Sidney Gottlieb, began on the order of CIA Director Alan Dulles in April 13th, 1953, and was aimed to develop mind-controlling drugs for use against the Soviets, bought and alleged Soviet, Chinese, and North Korean to use mind control techniques on U.S. prisoners during the World War and Korean War. So we got intelligence that Russia has figured out mind control. Or is working on it, and
Yeah.
they're close to it. So then the CIA heard this
We have to do better.
and said,
Like
well,
the moon landing.
we have this really good Nazi doctor who's not afraid to fuck with people's genetic codes and and messing with them.
So have this absolute antichrist of a person that's willing to do this.
We're
going to
hire him because he's already been working on it during World War II. Go to town, brother. Like, yeah.
Yep.
So like pretty much
Like, I beat those commies. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, America. The CIA warned. I'm sorry. The CIA wanted to use similar methods on their own captives and was interested in manipulating foreign leaders with such techniques, devising several schemes to drug Fidel Castro. It often conducted experiments without subjects even knowing or consent. In some cases, the academic researchers were funded through grants from the CIA front organizations, but were aware that the CIA was using their own work for these purposes. And the crazy thing is we gave these CIA agents and heads of the doctors these drugs to experiment, and most of them became drug addicts.
oh,
Yeah.
what's the word you were looking up?
Wow.
Vivisectionists.
Yes. thank
Okay,
you.
that's when they take your brain apart.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Thank you.
take the body
I
apart.
appreciate following along and help me where I stumble. The project attempted to produce a perfect truth drug, which is just crazy because didn't
the
they
truth serum.
didn't they
Truth
figure out
serum, yeah.
truth serum is pretty much sedation? What they sedate you in the hospital? Like if you're under that sedation,
Yeah, but
It
you
could
could
be, I
also
don't
say
know.
crazy things too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I stole the car. What's that gorilla doing there?
Yeah.
That reminds me
So,
of the
like,
Goonies. And I just started throwing up
Yeah.
all over the place.
I already have a problem with speaking my mind. Hospitals fucking
Oh my
hate me
gosh.
under sedation. You think I'm an idiot now, right? So you've been around me when I'm
I
blackout
was gonna
drunk.
say not even under sedation. Just hearing some conversations when other people have to go. Like I'm not gonna get into details of it, but you're telling me about like your live tweeting from surgeries and stuff, being like, "Oh, this is my dark humor," and everyone's like, "Oh, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
So let's get into this. So Heidi, because it's a great story. Heidi was getting surgery to get her baby maker shut down, and I'm so
That's layman's terms.
yeah, that's my medical term. And when they were going to take her in, they sedated her and put her under drugs, and she was doing awesome, and I was laughing at her. And the doctor's like, "Hey, if are you going to stay in the room?" I said, "Fuck no, I'm not staying in this room. I'm going out.
watching that,
I'm getting some food. You don't have to watch it. You just got to sit in a room while she's in the
Oh, okay, just the
yeah,
boring
the recovery room."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I'm not staying here. I'm going to get some food." And which obviously pissed Heidi off, who loves to eat. And she didn't eat in 24
Oh.
hours because she couldn't because of
She
surgery.
wasn't
She
mad
was
that you
also
left.
loopy.
She was mad that you were going to eat food.
Yes.
Which is a very, very Heidi thing to do, and
Yes.
I love her for that.
So they pretty much said, well, we have this app where we kind of like live message you how surgery's going and how long it's going to be and if it's going
Technology, baby.
Uh-huh.
great. So the way they spin it, like the doctor should, is like, hey, we're going to let you know, when she's in, how it's like kind of like
Hi, Anthony. Heidi's doing great.
yeah, kind of like when you order Domino's.
Sorry to say,
You know?
she passed away.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh wait, we're getting to it. Hold on, hold
And
on.
so I look directly in this nurse's face and like, are you gonna mess with me if she croaks? Like, if you kill her? Like, am I gonna get a ding at KFC's? Like,
Yeah.
she's dead.
Your spouse has died.
Yeah, she has
Sorry.
bled out. Yeah,
It's like the Oregon Trail.
yeah.
Oh my god.
You
was
died
choke
of
on it.
dysentery.
And the nurse looked at me with this face like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like she's never been asked that question.
that's a fair question. You probably get
It
asked
is
that
a
every
fair
day.
question.
Yeah.
It should be asked. Because what if they do mess up?
Like, are you gonna tell me? Like,
I'd be
so
pissed.
so doctor slipped with a scalpel and stabbed her in the neck. Like, how detailed
And
are
she
these
fell
tweets?
off the table.
Yeah, how detailed are these tweets? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
God,
So I
that's
asked
funny.
the doctor that, and they were not. They were like, "What the fuck's wrong?"
So
and
they
Like,
think they're
wow.
so uppity up, like they're so high class.
then they-
Fucking
Like they're
Then they
better
meet-
than everybody
yeah,
else.
then
They
they
still gotta
meet-
wipe their ass too. I don't care how much money you make.
So
That's
knowing
right,
that,
exactly.
I can only imagine you on something
Yeah.
being asked questions.
I was sedated for a dislocated shoulder once I started learning what my disorder was, and my dad took me to the ER to put my shoulder back in socket. Still under sedation, my shoulder's back in. I'm recovering, and my dad steps out for a second, go make a phone call, and I decide time to go home. So I start ripping IVs out of myself,
Wow.
taking all the heart monitors off. So all the nurses here is someone coding because I took everything off.
And you're there like, whoa.
And my dad said this nurse was built like a fucking Bears linebacker. She fucking picked me up, body slammed me on the bed, dropped an elbow on me, and she's like, "Don't get up." And I went, "You got it, Hulk." And then like another time, someone took me, and they're like, "Hey, listen, like, don't feed him, like, don't give him food. He'll turn into a gremlin." No, like,
Yeah, I was gonna
because
say, is this
he's
a
under
gremlin story?
sedation and he can get sick.
Mhm.
And I went, "She's gonna tell you no." But she's gonna take me to McDonald's. I'm gonna get a double. I'm gonna get a
You
double
take me to
cheeseburger. Like,
McDonald's.
and she's like, "Don't do that." And I hear you will puke. I'm like, I won't fucking puke.
And
then,
you
like-
pukes at everything.
I didn't know. No. When it comes to like, unless it's gross, I'll puke. But and so like the nurse is like, yeah, she's not gonna do that. I'm like, she's lying straight to your like whoever was with me was telling the nurse like I won't do it, and I'm like, she's lying right to your face. She's taking me to McDonald's. Like the nurse is like, can you shut up? I'm like, no, I cannot. I'm like, yeah, and then the nurse is like, you're never getting sedated as long as I'm in this wing ever again. Like you are a fucking nightmare. And I
You're
was
like, okay.
it's like me drunk times 100. Like I get drunk and pull pens out of people's noses with my teeth
And other things.
and staple nut sacks to legs and tits.
It's a great story.
my God.
Yeah.
We went to a freak show.
Yep.
And
Oh, yeah, you told me.
yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Uh-huh.
For the bonus content, if you guys want to subscribe
Yeah.
to Patreon, I'll tell my story how I stapled a $20
They're called
dollar.
alternate lifestyles, not
Yeah.
freaks.
Yeah.
No, the guy's name was Cutthroat Freak Show.
Wow.
Yeah, he fully leans into it, and that's why I like him. All right,
But
so
I mean, speaking of, because we were talking about the truth serum and whatnot.
yes,
So I mean, it could definitely be. I mean, who knows? Who fucking knows?
they
what's
probably
in the
made it. And they're
truth
like,
serum?
this would work
Yeah.
great if we have to like not fully put somebody out, but sedate them enough so they don't feel pain, and we can fucking manipulate their joints and
Mm-hmm.
do
Or
small
maybe
surgeries.
or maybe they found out the part of the brain that like lies and tells something that isn't true, and then they found a chemical that blocked that.
Or to go in and remove that part
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
The project attempted to produce a perfect drug for interrogation. Did I already read that? No.
No.
To interrogate suspected Soviet spies during the Cold War, and I should probably not drink because I have the beer burps and I'm half stupid already.
I'm right where you're at, so you can tag me in if you want
To explore other possibilities of mind control. The
Subproject
54 was the Navy's top secret perfect conclusion program.
Concussion.
Concussion program, which was supposed to be a
Oral frequency blast to erase memory.
You got it. The program was never carried out. Most MK Ultra records were destroyed in 1973 by order of the CIA director Richard Helms. So it has been difficult for investigators to gain complete understanding of more than 150 funded research sub-projects sponsored by MK Ultra and other
150
related.
different. Who knows what was in those 150?
We only know about 2 of them, and we're like, that's
Yeah,
a lot.
Like mind control is one. That's
Yeah.
149 more.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what were they trying to do? You know, shoot lasers out your eyes? Probably.
Probably
You know, like anything.
trying to turn everybody into X-Men.
yeah, breathe water,
right.
like like all kinds of crazy
Well,
stuff.
there was ones back in World War II where they were trying to teach pigeons how to deliver bombs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy what they were trying to do.
Like if you told that to somebody now, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna teach my like
Mike Tyson, like, yeah, I taught my pigeon how to deliver bombs. Drop it right over there for you.
And then people are like, okay, conspiracy theorists. They're
Yeah.
gonna teach pigeons how to deliver bombs.
And they have a bomb dropped on their porch.
Meanwhile, our government
pigeon.
gave them enough to give us all free national health care. But they're like, should we give our country health care? No, we gotta fucking inject LSD into Africa. Like,
I'm gonna create a very tiny needle that goes through the cork of a wine bottle so we can drug everybody.
yes. So when I was doing the research on this, the entire time I was like, I never want to hear the fucking argument again that we can't have free education and healthcare. We can't make ourselves healthier or more educated.
The idea of us being like where we would be today is unimaginable. The amount of just like advanced civilization that has been stunted because of the shit that we don't really know about.
And we didn't get one fucking superhero out of it.
No,
No,
or if they
not
did, they
one.
died.
Yeah.
You know,
God damn it.
Just
I mean,
don't
if you're
do
gonna have
it.
a program that creates powers, better fucking make
The
some
best
powers.
the best way that podcast put it is like no superheroes were created, but the literally super villains came together and made all this.
Yeah.
yeah, I
but-
remember that part.
But then painted themselves to be the heroes by saying,
Well, of course, every
America.
hero,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
be a
Lex
good
Luthor thinks he's the
patriot
good
and trust
guy,
your
yeah.
government.
take this pill.
Yeah.
It's a little giggle juice.
Yeah,
It'll be
it's a little
fine."
giggle water. You'll be
Yeah.
just fine.
If you get indestructible skin, then we'll love you.
Yeah. The project began during a period of what Rupert Conwell described as paranoia at the CIA. When the U.S. had lost its nuclear monopoly and fear of communism at its height, the CIA counterintelligence chief, James Jesus, I'm not saying Jesus,
What a name.
Angleton, believed that a mole had penetrated the organization at its highest levels. The agency poured millions of dollars into studies examining ways to influence and control the mind and enhance its ability to extract information. Millions. I just want to go back to that quick. Not even like were
And this
fucked
is
with
the,
people's
this is the
brains.
50s.
I was gonna say
So
this is
how
much money
millions
is that
for the
today?
50s.
$1
Just think about
million
that.
dollars.
Awesome.
That's not that much money in the world.
Should we fix cancer? No, we need LSD. A lot of it.
The whole world supply, actually.
Yes.
They purchased the whole world supply of LSD at this
Yep.
time, just so all of you know.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
Can you imagine how much LSD that is? That's unnecessary.
well, then they had
A
they had
shit
some they
ton.
had some help from a
Good thing
botanist chemist
Woodstock
later
wasn't
on.
going on, you know?
Well, Woodstock was probably created because of this.
No, it already happened. Oh,
Woodstock-
it's 69.
yeah,
Yeah,
Woodstock
that's
did
after it.
happen during this, right?
MK Ultra
Yeah.
created the psychedelic startup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the psychedelic universe, universe, like it's Marvel.
Cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the psychedelic like movement and everything started because it was the products of what happened
Yeah.
during the LSD.
The
Government
lead-
government officials were like, "Dude, we have this shit. I'm gonna bring home. You should try it."
Yeah.
And then like people
It blows
reverse.
your mind.
Yeah, and then it was kind of like, you
He's on a
know,
like
yeah.
wild trip, dude.
yeah, kind of like when the government goes and busts huge drug organizations, and then somehow all that drug goes back into
Yeah.
the streets.
Yeah.
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 Because the lead singer of Grateful Dead was caught up in all of this.
He was one of the experiments.
He
Yeah.
was.
He was
and
one of the people who volunteered to experiment
Yes.
LSD for the government.
Good old Jerry.
Yep.
That's right. And also a big mobster who was in prison. I forget the mobster.
Whitey
Whitey
Bulger.
Bulger, yes.
Huge mobster.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Serial killer. Let's just be clear.
Serial killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
He-
because he was a
Which-
mobster, he wasn't considered a serial killer.
Which I also have a theory about the whole serial killer thing, like going on with MK Ultra. I believe, and I've always
Kind
thought
of like that
about
barrier
this too.
between protest and riot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's also interesting because like there are like people kill like a shit ton of people every day, but there's only like a handful of quote serial killers that get Netflix documentaries.
Mhm.
So it's like which ones
And the ones that
were
do get
pushed to the front,
and the ones who
because
get
we were
Netflix
told to.
documentaries don't talk about when they do it and kill and rape children.
Yeah,
They just skip all that part of the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because they want a lot of times when they make documentaries, they want you to cheer for the murderer.
Why?
Even when
That's
they're
so
not.
sad.
I don't understand that. Yeah,
Even
they
when
want
they're not, like everyone
them to
knows
be the
Bundy.
he
good
had a really sad childhood.
Yeah,
Look how
so-
mean and drunk his mom
and
is.
the people that died, they kind of deserve.
They
it.
were all
They
over
were
the
mean
legal-
to him.
But
They
it's
were
it's
all
not
over
like
the
the
legal age of
Punisher. It's like
consent.
this person's clearly insane and evil, and
And
they're
a
like,
piece
well,
of
but
shit.
yeah, but he wasn't creative though.
Yeah.
You know, it's like no, that's why I don't get
Mm-mm.
into them people that I don't get into. See the like,
Like-
glorifying serial killers there.
Like
That's
Ted
all.
Bundy.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so intelligent and gorgeous. No,
was
he was
so
none of those
handsome.
things.
Like, he
He's
wasn't good looking at all.
no, he's
by anyone's standards.
You're right, just
No.
Stalin.
So
No.
I'm gonna. yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm such a fucking hypocrite on
He
that.
just pulled your card. He
He's
just pulled
right.
your card.
He did. That's okay. And I'm gonna say it on live on the podcast that young Stalin was fucking hot.
He would,
he is
he
hot.
would
Yeah.
get it.
He is
So I'm
hot.
gonna skip down a little bit here to the scale of the project.
Yeah, these are this is interesting.
So can we time
Kinda
out
a
for a
lot.
second?
Yeah.
Just because I had a thought randomly before
We'll
when
talk
we were
into the
talking
microphone.
about.
Not to me.
Well, I don't want to chew and talk at the same time.
He's like, I'm gonna talk over here.
Listen, they can hear me.
Today's
We need
episode
to
brought to you
hear
by
you. We can hear
Hooplas. Wonderful candy.
So,
That's very
yeah.
chewing.
It is quite
Yeah, we-
delicious.
Yeah.
These
Not
blue
about gummy candy.
raspberries.
I'm
These
so
blue
sorry.
raspberries.
You know, I have to be more aware of that. I'm gonna stop eating them. I'm sorry. If you can hear us chewing, I apologize.
The ASMR.
I don't know because
anyway,
I don't
go ahead.
hear anybody else
Nikolai.
chewing. I just got.
I got.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, and then
Yeah.
Tony was like talking to the mic, so
Yeah.
now I gotta talk on the mic.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
All right. So before we were talking about how like Russia was like, oh, we have like we've been working on the thing, and now America's like, oh well, they're working on it, so we have to do it. I only imagine that like there's two Russian scientists in a broken down lab. They're alone,
With a
and they're
one light
like,
bulb.
yeah,
With
They get the
$15
news thing.
donations. Yeah.
saying, oh, America's now working on it thanks to Russia. And they're like, fuck, now we actually have to do shit.
Yeah.
Like we weren't doing anything. All
Yeah.
this money was on drugs
Yeah.
and prostitutes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now we have to do
We
shit.
never
Yeah.
created.
Yeah.
What are they talking about?
Don't kill the American.
One 1955 MK Ultra document given to the indication of the size and range of the efforts. It refers to the study of assortment of mind-altering substances described as the
Now,
following.
some of these are a lot of them are similar, kind of almost the same. But
Yeah,
we'll go through
this list is pretty awesome. Substances in which promote illogical thinking and impulsive to the point where the recipient would be
discredited in public.
discredited in public. So making you think you're crazy, or
Yeah.
and then people would think you're crazy, so you would not be believed if told.
Which is like the most fragile mindset that somebody can be at.
yes,
And that pisses me off as a therapist, so we all know.
Mhm.
yes.
I was infuriated reading
She's
this.
a Virgo and
Um,
she's angry.
I am very angry. I was mad.
It always goes back to that. You know, no one will believe them until it's too late.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Substances that would increase the efficiency of meditation and perception. So, actually, there's even side note to this that they released documents that they were working on meditation, transcendental meditation.
Yeah.
They were working on ways to astral
called-
project.
I don't know if this
it's
is-
remote viewing is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you.
Well,
Yeah,
a
they're
lot
all-
because the whole idea
That's all
of
in
Well, they
government
want to
documents.
so that way you can
The
sit down,
whole
concentrate, see
idea-
the inside the base.
yeah, the whole
There's a
idea.
guide to the left. Okay.
Yeah, the whole idea of LSD was to reach that part of your brain to open up those other sensory
Yeah.
Your
issues.
psychic powers.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they spelled it wrong, but it's not is it meditation, mentation, or is that meditation? That's is that how meditation is spelled?
I just went with
No.
meditation because I
I
thought it
think
made
this
sense.
word is
Mentation.
mentation, which I don't know how
I
to
don't
look
know
that
what
up.
that is.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I'm just going to chalk it up as an error. It sounds like meditation and perception. Materials in which will prevent the counteract of intoxicating effects of alcohol. So if you're drunk, they can hit you with something and you're no longer drunk. Materials that will promote the
Well, that would be
effects.
wonderful. The day after pill.
Oh, mentation is a word. The highest levels of human mentation. It's from the Oxford languages.
You know, it's horrible when they use a word and then put the word in the definition.
Yeah.
How does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Um,
nothing.
This lime cake tastes awful lot like lime.
It's yeah. It's something that you do unconsciously, basically.
Meditate.
Yeah.
Materials that will
So
promote
they were working
the
on yoga. Got it. Got it.
Bright.
material-
Oh, I'm
okay.
sorry. Bright, alert, and responsive. Quiet, alert, and responsive.
Different forms of meditation.
It's
Yeah.
more like no, it's not meditation at all. It's about being
Comatose.
aware and seeing things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obtunded,
A third eye.
Meta.
Porous,
They're
and
Because
opening their
there's
third
comatose.
eye.
okay, that just made sense in my head. Because meditation is when you sit and go in a meditation.
You are
Okay.
aware.
Like when someone
when
says
you
how
meditate.
meta is that, like how inside.
All right,
something is.
cool.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, sorry guys.
Materials
you're
in which
fine.
will
That's
promote.
awesome.
We're not professionals, by the way. Materials that will promote intoxicating effects of alcohol. So, like
super drunk.
don't take this with alcohol because
Yeah.
it'll fucking make your day better. Your liver won't like you, but you'll have a blast while doing it. Materials which will produce the signs of symptoms of recognizable diseases in irreversible ways, so they may be used for mandling. Used for pretty much like so. This one is
Malingering effects.
malingering. So they can hit you with something. Your medical signs will show that you have cancer, but you don't.
Mhm.
Yeah. Materials which will render the induction of hypnosis easier and otherwise enhance its usefulness.
Yeah, if you could hypnotize someone and easier, that'd be wonderful.
you
just
buy those
show 'em-
people who do like hypnosis,
No.
like when they're.
I think it's an actual thing that can be done. I don't think people that go to parties that are just like, yeah, $100 an hour, and I'll like give everybody
Yeah.
a.
And
For my senior
we'll make
night-
Bob think he's a cow. You know,
we for our senior night at Blue Mountain for 2012, they had like a hypnosis person come in, and it was all bullshit, and everybody just because then I got like
See-
told to they was like when I wasn't playing along with the game, they're like, when I touch you, that means it's not right for you. You have to go sit down, and it was like I went right away because I was just like, I don't feel anything. They're like, well, it's not for you. Go sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
God.
You're not drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yep.
I think it can be done, but it has to be done by the right person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I watch
And
those shows
especially-
where people think they're cows or dancing around like chickens, like I'm like,
Yeah.
are you really doing it? Or
Well, and
Yeah.
also like
gonna say, you
the
can't-
person being like whatever has to like
Buy
think in their brain because thoughts are things.
yeah.
Mhm.
So if you want to be, in a meditative
It's one of those
state,
things
you
where I
can-
don't believe it, but
Yes.
I'll never volunteer and just in case.
Mhm.
Because if I'm dude, I'm an idiot when I'm in my normal mind. If you take away my inhibition and
I'm taking my pants off.
I'm taking I'll piss somewhere. I know I will. I'll take a dump somewhere like
piss somewhere.
like someone's seeing my dick. No, it's a joke. Probably not a joke though. Yeah,
Where
where
we
we?
read the next one?
Go ahead.
Okay. Substances which will enhance the ability of individuals to withstand privation, I don't know what that means, torture, or coercion during interrogation or so-called brainwashing.
Is it preservation?
So
No, privation. Privation.
we would give it to somebody,
Privation.
and if they're being tortured, they won't break.
Yes.
They're looking
Oh.
for people to break and how to not
Yeah,
break.
they want
Mhm.
both sides of that.
So when they say there was over 150 things going on, these are probably the other ones that they at least know about that were being worked on, and the
I'm
ones.
sure there was all
but
kinds
but
of
we
stuff.
don't know the
Yeah.
details of the extent of what went
I was
into
gonna say
those
if
projects.
this is what the CIA declassified, like what else is still
Yeah,
classified?
I'm sure there was
Yeah.
probably like how to breathe in toxic fumes if they tear gas you or something.
Probably.
like
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, where were we at here?
Privation is a state in which things that are essential for human well-being, such as food and warmth, are scarce or lacking. So,
So-
they're taking everything
Well,
away
that's
from
good
you,
if
so
you're
you
chained
break.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't feed or give you food or water.
Oh, that's so
Materials and
sick.
physical methods which will produce amnesia or affecting procedures during their use. physical methods of producing shock and confusion over extended periods of time, and capable.
Surreptitious use.
Thank you. Substances which will produce physical disablement, such as paralysis of the legs and acute amnesia,
Yeah, imagine if you could like just shoot somebody with like a
and their legs
with a
stop
gun,
working.
yeah, and they go right down.
Chloroform. I wonder where that came from.
Oh,
Yeah.
A paralyzer gun.
Yeah. Substances which will produce pure euphoria with no subsequent or letdown.
Well, that
So pretty
sounds
much
wonderful.
Getting high with no after
No,
feeling. So
yeah.
if you take like LSD and the next day you feel depressed as
And
shit,
no like side effects, no negative effects at all.
or it doesn't show up in your system.
So you take all the meth you want, and you won't look horrible.
You get to keep your teeth.
Yeah.
Where are we at here? There's
Number 12.
okay, yeah. I'm just kind of scrolling down. Substances that will alter personality structure in such the way of tendencies of the recipient to become dependent of another person or
Upon another.
yeah,
person.
the upon the other person is more enhanced. So this one was a big one. Heroin. So a lot of these things that they were doing to people, they would say like, "Oh, we'll get you addicted to heroin." And then when you're at the point where you're like, "I can't do these fucking tests anymore," and you put me on LSD, their end game was, "Well, then we'll take away your heroin." And they're like, "All right, I'll do it today." And then they would fucking hit them with LSD, fucking make them freak out, and then give them their heroin as a reward.
God.
And a
That's
lot of the
sick.
time, like with these drugs and whatnot, like you said, like the downtrodden people, like they use them as test subjects. Like when jazz started, and like in the African American community, like they were all hooked on heroin because it was the thing to do. Like who started that? Because they were, exactly. And that's
Sick.
yeah.
Very sick.
Were we at
You want
9?
to bounce back and forth?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, a material. Actually, we're at 13.
Are we?
Yes.
Yeah, because you said 12 last time.
I hit my button. Sorry.
A material which will cause mental confusion of such a type, the individual under its influence will find it difficult to maintain a fabrication under questioning. So that's pretty good. You take this, and now I can't lie anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True serum.
They sound like really good RPG fucking
Yeah, that sounds like all kind
level
of cool
ups.
stuff.
A substance that will lower the ambition and general working efficiency of men who are administered undetectable by that will be administered in undetectable amounts. So you lower your inhibition, but you don't know how you got there. So putting it in air vents, hitting you with a micro needle.
It kind of makes you want to do nothing because your ambition is down and
Yeah.
your working efficiency. So it's like, oh, we'll just put this in the factory and then they won't do any work.
Yep.
So they won't make no guns.
Yep. Go ahead if you would do 15.
Okay, substances which promote weakness or distortion of the eyesight or hearing faculties, preferably without permanent effects. So temporary blindness, flashbangs.
That's a very good possibility. A knockout pill, which can be used to administer to drinks, food, cigarettes, as well as aerosol, which can be used to provide maximum amount of amnesia and suitable use for agencies types an ADHOC basis.
I don't know what ad hoc is.
Yeah. So this is actually something that they actually tried to use on Castro, where they were trying to sneak stuff into his cigarettes,
and
his
his
cigars.
cigars.
They were finding ways that they can put a bioweapon into his boots. So when he put his boots on, he would get this virus
and,
it would-
and forget stuff.
yeah, like they were like this is legit ways that they were trying to take it. Like they tried to kill this world leader. They say in the other podcast they tried to kill this world leader, and the guy never got in the plane, and they knew he didn't get in the plane, but just said, "Fuck it, we already made it. Let's test it out," and blew the plane up and killed a bunch of people.
Wow. Oh,
That's
jeez.
disgusting.
Yeah.
They're actual like bad. They're villains. They're
Yeah.
actual mad scientists that were and probably are still in charge of the world.
That's awful.
Go ahead, Andy.
Number 17, a material which can be surreptitiously administered, that means on the sly, by the above routes, and in which very small amounts will make it impossible for a person to perform physical activity.
Yeah.
So you just shoot them with this little dart, and they just go down like,
Yeah,
How do they go again?
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna skip over other projects, other related projects.
They talk about MK Delta.
Yeah, and that's when they get into the other projects. That's fine. We'll get on experiments with Americans. For a while there, this program was only used on foreign lands because we love America. But then we're like, you know what? Fuck it. Why pay that airfare? We could just do it here. So CIA documents suggest they investigated chemical, biological, and radioactive methods of mind control, part of MK Ultra, and spent an estimate of 10 million or more. Roughly $87.5 million adjusted for inflation. And their main thing they used was LSD. Early CIA efforts focused on LSD-25, which later came to dominate many of MK Ultra's programs. The CIA wanted to know if they could make the Soviet spies defective against their will, and whether the Soviets can do the same thing to CIA operatives. One of MK Ultra's that got underway in April of 1953. Experiments included administering LSD into mental patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and sex workers. People who could not fight back, as one of the agency officers put it.
with the low classes of society.
If they went missing, nobody would care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Essentially. In one case, they administered LSD to a mental patient in Kentucky for 174 consecutive
Jeez.
days. They also administered LSD to a CIA employees, military personnel, doctors, other government agents, and members of the general public to study their reactions. LSD and other drugs were often administered without subjects' knowledge or informed consent, a violation of the Nuremberg Code that the U.S. had agreed to follow after World War II. The aim of this was to find drugs which would bring out the deepest confessions or wipe a subject's mind clean, and the program was
To program them as a robot.
yeah, and the-
Perfect example. Like there was an account of a man that I don't know if he was another like a mental in a mental institution or if he was a volunteer, but they actually put him to sleep for 82 to 84 days. And what they did is while he was asleep, the only thing that they did other than monitor his vitals was like plug in like headphones and they
Did
just
they go with the
repeated,
helmet?
"You killed your mother, you killed your mother, you killed your mother" for 84
That's
days
insane.
just to have him wake up and see, what are you thinking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that's
what
the
would
kind
you
of
think
shit-
of? You whatever they played, you would think about.
Yeah,
There
to
was a-
program you.
I don't know if it was on Murder My Dude or another podcast I listened to, but there was a story where this guy was drugging girls and doing horrific things to them, like
Ugh.
horrible things to them.
Ugh.
And the girls would be like, "I have a lot of pain down there," and then go to the doctor and like, "You have really bad tears and like stuff going on down there."
Mhm.
And they had, because he was using like high doses of LSD, and he had them, and they're like, "I don't remember a month of my life." He had them under capture for a month, and these are like people that were like members of his daughter's friends and stuff. So like this dude figured out a way to fucking erase people's minds with high volumes of drugs
Yep.
and doing horrendous like sexual acts to them. And I believe it was a Murder My Dude episode. I have to find out exactly which one it was, but it's just fucking crazy with people. So Operation. Now we're gonna get into this really fun one. This
It
is
has
called,
a great name.
yeah. This is probably the best name out of all of them. Operation Midnight,
Midnight
Climax.
Climax.
I mean, that's be a good tag team name or move
Yeah.
or
Good old Whitey.
video game.
Yeah. So the CIA set up several brothels.
Hey now.
With agency safe houses in San Francisco San Francisco was a big one because if it got out of control, they'd be like, "It's the gays' fault,"
Yeah.
Which
it's
what
San
do you what
Francisco.
do people think Playboy is?
like HIV.
Like I mean that's just
anyway, like yeah.
the
So
articles,
when you
sorry.
sneak
they're
HIV,
for the article.
and the
Gotcha.
cartoons.
when you sneak
Yeah.
HIV
Yeah.
into the black and gay communities, and then be like, "It was their fault."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because all of this stuff is. You're gonna tell me you were working on this, and then you only have, 19 out of the 150 things that they were working on, and then all of a sudden these weird fucking things
Well,
pop
aren't
up.
like sorry to sidebar, but aren't like a lot of the chemicals that were used? Aren't they chemicals that are still used for? Aren't they medicines that are still used in like the pharmaceutical company?
Probably small traces of them. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I thought I heard that somewhere. I could be wrong.
So this was to obtain a selection of men who would be too embarrassed to talk themselves out of the events. Men's were dosed with LSD. The brothels were equipped with one-way mirrors, and the sessions were filmed for later viewing and studying.
Yeah. Studying. Yeah. There was no sexual.
Well, a
stuff.
lot of the time, the Johns that were used were like heads of like their own companies, or they
Yes.
had like their
Yeah.
own like meetings and stuff like that. And so like they
Because
needed
of-
Agents.
information. They're agents. Like
And
they needed
and
information.
they couldn't confess. I got drugged
they-
and
they-
and fucked a whore.
Yep, and
Yeah.
they needed those honeypots to get it out of them.
War.
And some of them are quoted to say, "Why wouldn't I do this? I could have fun and rape and pillage and not get in trouble." One of them
Yeah, I
were
remember
quoted to
that.
say that. I was like sickened when I read that. I'm
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck
I
is
got
wrong
money.
with these people?"
I got money.
I could do it. I can grab him by the pussy if I want.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker, right? In other experiments, there were people who were given LSD without their knowledge, and they were interrogated under bright lights with doctors in backgrounds taking notes. The
Doesn't that
subject
sound more like an alien abduction though? Like
Maybe.
you're that person. that
would
could
be a
like,
great way
"Ah."
to sneak that into the fold too. They were
Well,
told
that's Project Blue Book and Bluebeam, but anyway.
they were told subjects would then extend their trips, and if they refused to reveal their secrets, the people under this interrogation were CIA employees, U.S. military personnel, and agents suspected of working on the other side of the Cold War. Long-term debilitation and several
there you go.
deaths resulted from this. Heroin addicts were bribed into taking LSD and offers for more heroin. At the invitation of a Stanford psychologist graduate student, Vic
Vic Lovell. That's
Vic
a good
Lovell.
name. Vic Lovell.
an acquaintance of Richard.
He's
Abel.
one half of the Midnight Climax. So he's gonna get a tag partner here soon.
I love wrestling references scattered in there. Alan Grinsberg, Ken Casey volunteered to take part in what turned out to be a CIA finance study under the agents of MK Ultra at Millennium Park Veterans Hospital, where he worked as a night aide. The project studied the effects of psychoactive drugs, in particular LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, cocaine, AMT, and DMT on people. So they were testing LSD, mescaline, cocaine, marijuana, and I believe AMT is
I don't know what AMT or
Is that
DMT is.
amphetamines?
yeah some kind
It
of yeah.
might be.
I
I don't know.
What was the other abbreviation?
DMT.
Psychobillion.
Psilocybin.
Psilocybin.
Mushrooms.
Yeah. Mushrooms, yes.
Oh, okay.
Mind-antler drugs, yeah. So,
I wouldn't know that.
so here's the crazy thing with this. So imagine like and not only were people not like you could have been a guy in the street just having dinner one day and they walked over and fucking slipped you something, and then they just kind of stood back and watched you struggle in the streets. So imagine if like you're just an everyday person, have a life, like barely making ends meet, and then one day you go to a restaurant or you get a sandwich or you get something, and then you have a huge trip in the middle of the street, you get arrested, beat up, killed, anything, and like your whole life destroyed because you had that like, and then it's one of those situations where it's like, dude, like Andy was a great guy, and then one day he just fucking freaked out and took his clothes off and ran down the street. Like, what the? And he's like, dude, I don't fucking remember it. And they're like, sure you don't, you fucking psycho. Get the fucking prison. And then he loses his job, his livelihood, his fucking wife leaves him, his kids don't talk to him, and the whole time his whole life's going, dude, I don't know what the fuck happened.
And then a man in a black suit comes in and
then
goes,
you find
hey,
out-
son,
then-
let me help you.
Not even that. They don't even contact you. And then
Yeah.
you find out years later, like, oh yeah, our government was dosing people LSD at one point in time. You're like, you fucking ruined my life. Like,
They don't care.
this is just one possible. I made that scenario up, obviously. Like,
Right.
there's no current form of that. But how do you know that couldn't have happened? You know what I
So
mean?
Never go out.
upsetting.
Never go out
Yeah,
again.
never.
It's fucking.
Well, that like makes you think of somebody who's like a Manson or a whatever. Like you have these
and
people.
Manson used LSD to make a cult.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
You guys all take this, and you'll think I'm Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sick
But what
thing.
it's also like. Well, anyway, continue. It doesn't make sense.
So this is where things get interesting. I believe this is the case, right?
Which case is it?
This is with I believe Frank Olson.
Is he the Canadian?
Did
or?
you skip ahead? Oh, okay, Elson is saying
There's a
about Sidney
Canadian I know
Gottlieb.
about. and then-
Gottlieb. Yes.
Hold on.
If you go to that where you just were with the drugs. The next
I'm trying to
paragraph,
skip a
halfway
little
through,
bit here.
they
Yes. So this is I'm not going to read the whole story word for word here. So what happened is there was a guy who was part of this program, right? And sometimes they try to make him out that he was an angel in this and that he was an innocent bystander because he unfortunately lost his life in this. But Frank has this I believe it's Frank has
Yes.
been told he's been a part of this for a while. He's witnessed these experiments. He's witnessed all of it. And then he goes with his constituents to a party, and the head of the program slips them all LSD and says, "Gotcha, bitch." And then Frank, on a huge LSD trip, then goes, I would never thought, like he kind of gets some buyer's remorse where he's like, oh my God, they just did it to me. So then he has this mental fuck where he's been watching these people get fucked with for fucking years. And then
Your
all of
turn,
a
Frankie.
sudden he gets a conscience and he goes, I don't like any of this anymore. Now there is things to this story where, you know, I've never taken LSD, but if someone has to be given LSD for 174 days to keep the effects going, I don't see slipping him at one day and then this went on for another 5 or to a week or whatever.
Unless they were like secretly microdosing him.
or keep it going. Yes.
I got the
Or like a really big dose.
the little sentence here. It says
Yeah.
that an army chemist, this is Frank Olson, who had never taken LSD, was covertly dosed by the CIA supervisor and 9 days later plunged to his death from a window of a 13-story New York City hotel room, supposedly as a result of deep depression induced by the drug.
Yes.
A deep depression.
So this is more stuff that came out later. So he knew he was diagnosed. He went home and talked to his wife, and his wife's like, "You're off," and he's like, "I made a huge fucking mistake." And then a couple days later, he's like, "I'm still not right." They took him to a doctor in New York. He went to the doctor, and they took him to a hypnosis. They hired this magician to help the CIA in how to do sleight of hand
Oh,
how to do
how about that?
how to do hypnosis, how to do parlor tricks, essentially. So
Yeah.
how can they do sleight of hand, hit you with a needle, and you never know it fucking happened?
Yeah.
So this magician was teaching CIA's sleight of hand tricks,
Yeah.
as well as so they took this guy to a magician. They tried to hypnotize his brain to get him normal again. And it didn't work. And he was still freaking out. And he was still paranoid. And he didn't trust anybody. And he was going nuts. And then he became a flight risk where they're like, he's going to spill the fucking beans. And he was supposed to go home. And halfway there, he said, supposedly said, I can't be around my family right now. I'm not good. I think it was like Thanksgiving or Christmas. When did he die?
It doesn't really. Oh, it just that said 9 days later.
Did it say what month? I believe it was Christmas or November. He was supposed to be. He told his wife he will be home in time for the holidays.
Oh, that's what I'm looking at this paragraph. It doesn't really give any dates.
I
on
bet you
this.
they killed him, so he
Yeah.
went.
So
Oh, yeah.
so then
Really
they all went to the
I agree.
hotel room again, and they're like, "Let's sleep this off and work on something tomorrow." They all left the room, and Frank jumped out a closed window.
This is-
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was
Um,
offed.
Yeah,
It's funny. I just read this one line. They give this guy drugs in his morning coffee every day, and he became psychotic, ran across Washington, seeing a monster in every car passing him. So, I mean, the drugs could just
So-
really mess with it. And it can
so I-
damage your brain, too.
yeah,
which
I don't know how
Oh
much.
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I don't think they really thought of that, like when they said, "Hey, let's keep giving it to
Oh,
for
I think they
77
knew.
days." But they wanted one thing, but like I don't think they realized, well, that might just destroy his brain,
And I
you
think
won't
that's-
get your result that you
And
want.
I think that's what they were trying to see how far the human being could be pushed, because I truly believe that if they felt like it was safe enough for human consumption, that they could commercialize off of it and
It's
sell
funny
it.
how like every
Okay, yeah.
podcast we do has a shit ton of viewers, and this one has almost nothing. Government's holding us back.
Yeah, we're getting shadow banned.
Anyway, yeah. So essentially, what happened with this guy is he committed suicide.
He was suicided.
And they went to his family and said, "Hey, your dad jumped or fell out a window. We have no idea.
Our condolences. We're the government.
Have a good day. See you later." Then
Here's a flag.
a couple months later, the government went back to talk to the wife, and because the wife knew he was in some shit, she's like, "Man, everything's fine. We're good. Don't worry about it." And they're like, "All right, she's not a flight risk. We're gonna move on." Because if she started acting crazy, she might have fell out a window too.
Yep.
And also reports from with this podcast, Chilling Naughty. Great job to those guys once again.
Yeah,
Please go
very
listen to
great.
it. They're doing a way better job than we were probably gonna do. But
We try.
yeah, I mean, we're having we don't have the time to research, and
Yeah, right.
we're getting better. It's episode 19, 20. I don't even know where we're at. Anyway,
I think we're pretty good.
so we're pretty much just getting you on the ball to then research yourself. We're not going to give you every square inch of the detail. The whole thing is find your own truth, right? It's truth
Yep.
behind illusion.
Yep.
So yeah, so they also have reports and document CIA things where like the best way to kill somebody is have them fall from a high height, because it's almost impossible then to find out how they actually died, because there's so much damage to the body. It'd be tough to figure out.
Yes. And they jumped off because they were crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So this comes out, and then years later, I'm just gonna kind of go ahead here. Now we did talk about like Whitey Bulge and other people who were talked. I'm just kind of watching time a little bit. There's a lot more to this, but they kind of got caught through Watergate. Watergate then happens, and Watergate then kind of brings some of this up, and they're like, we need to delete this shit, get rid of it, destroy it. So it was destroyed. Some of the stuff survived, and then this is how it kind of came out. But the family of the person who just was murdered here then went and sued the government, and if they would have won that case, it would have then had to make a lot of what was not destroyed then declassified.
And it's interesting with like that happened like during Watergate, because I know a lot of like the majority of the theories that came from the JFK assassination was the idea that
Yeah.
JFK was trying to disband the CIA.
Yes. And he was...
Oh, was he?
Yes,
Yeah.
he was trying to disband some of the CIA. He was trying to disband gangsters. He was
mafia.
trying to disband a lot of things, secret organizations.
And he also wanted to do disclosure of ETs too, and
Yeah.
that's like all the stuff that he told Marilyn Monroe as well, supposedly,
Yeah.
which is also what led to her demise.
Yeah. Now this is...
Oh, I knew
that's
about the gangsters.
That's where the conspiracy then comes in. But like, yeah, so a lot, and like I said, they've been practicing how to do assassinations with Castro and this other leader and stuff. And then it's like, well, we have this pretty much figured out. You know what I mean? Like they literally shot a man on a main parade route, and still no one knows exactly. Like,
Yeah.
and they pinned it
Yeah.
on one guy. You know what I
Why
mean?
didn't
Like,
they wait till he was like in a room somewhere? Oh, it
yeah,
burned down.
it's yeah.
There's
It's-
evidence of
it's-
more than one killer for him, if I
Yeah.
recall.
But only
And the
one
idea of the
person.
public assassination is kind of like a put it on show. Like this is what
Yeah.
will
Send
happen
a
if
message,
you do
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
If
So-
you speak out, this
But
will happen to
and
you.
a lot of people are like, well, why don't they still do that? They don't have to, because they can publicly assassinate you via social media, and then people will never fucking like you'll be erased from existence without even being erased from existence. You know what I mean? Like they can just
They just like
Well,
embarrass you.
I still think like a lot of that
Shame
stuff
you.
happens too because it's like, well, Marilyn Monroe was said to have an overdose.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And so it's like how many celebrities or people that like, maybe go quiet or are kind of saying like, well, I don't really like what's happening. And then they have an overdose or they
Yeah.
do have a suicide or they this and that and everything. So it's like, I
Mhm.
mean, which drug abuse is very serious and rampant, but I mean, it's that, and who knows? Who knows? But that's why I still think it's happening.
The Frank Olson story of this can be an entire episode. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Them testing Whitey Bulger and members of the Grateful Dead and stuff like that can go for another episode. We can go in.
Beatles.
We can like
The Beatles.
well,
yeah.
a lot of the like I said, a lot of the LSD that was put out was because of our government putting it out to people.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds,
Yeah.
LSD.
Um,
Oh, I didn't know that the Beatles were involved in this.
they
though.
weren't
Well,
being tested, but
They were in hand, like the famous people, like are always like kind of like the ones that portray the things that are cool. So it's
Mhm.
like when
Yeah.
you have like big celebrities being like LSD, like open your mind, like free love, everything, and then people are like sick. Let me take it down.
it went from experimenting to people to let's put this out in the general public and make it norm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And then and it came. They were testing it in the 50s, realized they think they had it down to where they can give it to people, then released it, and then the 60s and 70s happened.
Mm-hmm.
Which and then yeah, go ahead.
And then so LSD was kind of found in like a village or some shit, like, and then they kind of brought it
Probably.
back and worked on it, and then this organization, this pharmaceutical company, then reconstructed it and mass produced it.
Mhm.
And that pharmaceutical company is one of the main pharmaceutical companies who give pills to 90% of our population
Yeah, to this
today.
day.
Mm.
And they were funded on CIA government, them pretty much making a street drug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's awful.
yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, most people who have money, if you do a little dig on how they got it, they probably had to do some stuff to get it. You know what I mean?
I say that all the time. Like, you can't tell me like some of the most rich people in the world didn't have to do some stuff or play ball to get to where they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like what that person says. Like, I don't. Whatever. Like, they had to do something to get to that top.
Yeah. It's like I said, this can go on and on and on. But like I said, we're just kind of giving a small taste of
Mhm.
MK Ultra. Like I said, this can be something we dive back in later on. Is there anything that we missed, Andy, that you're kind of scrolling through there? That
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Different.
yeah,
Like,
we're like
a lot of things they did about hypnosis. They created a super drug, which they called, I believe it's called HZ or BZ. And it was thought to hold a greater promise as a mind control weapon. So it was really
Yeah.
just trying to control the mind with drugs, or if they could unlock a power, and then you could be like, oh, well, now we have, Subject 52. They can just go and read people's minds.
yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what it's all. It's all drugs and just trying to inject them and control the mind. But it's like no one was there to say, I think it might be destroying the mind.
So
a
here's
little
some notable people who were under experiment. Alan Glinsberg was the first to take the LSD experiment in Stanford University, where he can be listened to. You can actually listen to records of his choice. He was, let's see here, he was Slide of Paranoia, hung on all acid experiments to the 1960s. Trying to think. I'm just kind of just skimming through. King Kingsley, who was the author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, was underneath that.
I'm sorry, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Robert Hunter was the American lyricist and singer and songwriter of the band The Grateful Dead.
Mhm.
Boston mobster James Whitey Bulger was part of this. Ted Kaczynski was an American domestic terrorist who was known as the Unabomber. He's an alleged person.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah.
forgot about
So that's
him.
alleged. That's not 100% out there.
Mhm.
There was another one where he was I believe a Olympian or swimmer or something, and he was suffering
Phelps.
he was suffering from depression, and he went in to get an experiment, and they were just like, wonder how much he can handle because he's an actual athlete, and
Yeah.
literally overdosed and killed him,
Mhm.
and just moved on.
And who was that one?
He was some swimmer. I
He was
remember
like an
him-
Olympic gold medalist.
Oh, him. Okay.
Yeah, and then they were just like, I don't know. He was
There's a quote from Ted Kennedy. Yeah, I found.
yeah.
I don't know. I just want it's like Ted Kennedy because the Howard thing.
Mhm.
It's just about it's whether when they started leaking everything. Well, when the public started finding out and they were starting to report everything.
When Ted was also
Yeah.
killed.
Yeah.
Or also died.
And this spans over many presidencies. Many different people were in charge.
Oh, God,
uh,
yeah.
You know,
Gerald Ford.
people who were running the projects. Then when the projects were
Well,
Well,
shut down,
it started with Eisenhower.
Yeah. many people who were running the projects then became the heads of the like there was no checks and balances. Like the guys who were then the bosses were the ones funding the
Yeah, there's some Canadian.
Which
Yeah.
I
people
wonder
involved.
how many of like the presidents, like other than, because from what I had learned, because like the whole like theory behind JFK was the one that almost like spilled the beans with everything. So after JFK, they really limited what the presidents were allowed to know. Like a lot of things, like Black Ops stuff, or like the presidents are.
How much do
on
you
a
think they told
not-
Trump?
I don't think a lot. Honest to
think
God,
either.
I don't think
gonna tweet
any
it.
president.
That's the
Exactly,
problem.
exactly. I don't think any president has is on that much of a need to know basis with a lot of things, because think about it. They're only at tops there for less than a decade. They are temporary placeholders.
Yeah.
How much power do they really have? Not as much as people think
We'll
they
find
do.
out how much he knows in the next upcoming days.
Because I'm gonna tell everyone, I'm really just gonna let
because
it
yeah, because everyone
you didn't
is
vote for
turning
me,
and run.
and you could have voted for me, but you know, a lot of dead people voted for.
I would have
Biden,
told you about
but,
the aliens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you didn't vote for me, so you're not getting anything about the aliens.
Yeah.
should have stormed the.
It's just
the White
crazy
House.
how much you're giving me like a De Niro over
Yeah,
there.
Should have stormed the White House.
It's nuts because it seems like now that everything's going on, people are just turning and running from him. Everyone's like, "What the fuck?" But you also gaslit just as much as he did to make everything where it is now. But this is used heavily in pop culture. MK Ultra was part of many conspiracy theories due to its nature and destructive of most records. 1963, the Mindbenders was a version of this for use.
Mindbenders versus Midnight Climax, baby.
Yep. 1990 film Jacob's Ladder alludes to Project MK Ultra. 1997 film Conspiracy Theories. Conspiracy Theory, a Project MK Ultra is referred to by Dr. Jonas, who is played by Patrick Stewart. 2006 film Shadow Man, starring Steven Seagal, has a plot that revolves around a fictional cancer-causing biological weapon called MK Ultra. In 2008, the film Pineapple Express depicts projects of MK Ultra in the intro scene where they say like, "This drug's terrible, ban marijuana," which
That's right.
kind of what happened. In 2009, The Killing Room invokes Project Oprah as its foundation of its base plot. Marvin Boggs played John Malkovich in the films Red and Red 2,
Yep.
which have been provided as they were pretty much dosed with LSD over a period of 11 years, making them paranoid, echoing actions of MK Ultra.
And they were that was a comic book before.
Yeah, they made Red into yeah, absolutely. The 2013 film, the Banshee chapter was based on that. 2015 film American Ultra stars Jesse Eisenberg as a stoner slacker who discovers he's a sole survivor of the Ultra program, which turned him into the ultimate assassin. The 2000
interesting.
Yeah, the 2015 Mr. Right depicts Hopper, portrayed by Tim Roth, mentioning the MK Ultra program. The Jason Bourne books and films starring Matt Damon was written by Robert Lytham, are all based on MK Ultra techniques.
Oh, I didn't know they were based on MK Ultra. I love that series. It's
Yep.
very good. I highly recommend if nobody has seen it.
Some TV shows.
lot.
The CBC
A lot.
Ministries The Sleep Room, the BYU TV's drama Granite
Granite
Flats.
Flats? Never heard of that.
Never heard of that either. Bones, Spaceman and Crater.
Bones with
Deschanel.
Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now listen,
Marvel
I didn't
is
finish
filled
it.
with all
most of
them.
Marvel's comic books are based like
everything.
Captain America's backstory is MK Ultra.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anything-
I
he
didn't-
was the Manchurian candidate.
Anything that they
Yes.
kind of heard of, like
Wolverine?
Stan Lee just took and turned
Everything.
it in. Yeah.
Definitely
Wolverine.
everything.
Getting taken and put into a program where they injected his body with that's
Yeah, the Weapon X
Deadpool
program.
then. Deadpool should be on there.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I didn't finish it yet. I'm behind.
They probably just linked it in there, but if you're a comic book fan, you know that most of comic book origin stories are the government tested on me, and they're like, it's just a comic book.
Yeah, and that's the
So,
whole thing. Yeah.
New Mutants then. When you watch New Mutants, you'll see
Yes.
government testing.
The TV show Fringe,
Oh, I love
Archer,
Fringe. Archer?
X Files, which is
X Files. Oh yeah.
I love
whew,
X-Files.
X-Files is so good.
One of the
Alpha,
best.
Alpha Numbers, The Blacklist, and then
Oh.
a really popular one that I know people who watched it and didn't even realize they were watching MK Ultra, Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. That's the
Yeah.
big one. Well, her mom, Elle's mom in the show, was a victim of MK Ultra, and now she's like, because she was like tested on while she was pregnant with Elle, and then they basically like made her brain dead, and then stole Elle from her because they were basically performing experiments on her mom to Elle in utero, and then she was number 11 out of however many experiments, which
So
is her name.
realistic, like if you do a experiment, if you're a scientist and you do experiment, you have like your control, your test, and then your result.
Mhm.
It seemed like they would get halfway through their control into their test and be like, but what if get somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it's like, all right, we're gonna test this on a woman, right? We're gonna fucking hit her with all this LSD and do all this. What if she was pregnant?
Yeah.
We need a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna test the side effects on the baby
On the
once it's born.
babies.
You know what I mean? Like it just spiraled.
Yeah.
It fucking spiraled.
Tie
Like,
to tie
Well,
it
that's
back.
kind of like the Umbrella Academy as well.
Oh,
The
yes.
Umbrella Academy
Mhm.
is very heavy on like they don't ever really say MK. Well, yeah, they
Mm.
do, and then they talk about the JFK assassination and time travel and all shit. So
Yeah.
that's another one that's not on the
So
list.
to
Yeah,
tie it
I'm
back to a
surprised I missed
previous
that.
episode here, the fictitious video game, I said that wrong, fictitious video game known as Polybius
Polybius.
has spread around as an urban myth in the early 2000s. Many of the key points of Polybius allude to the government control testing and other Men in Black type figures, suggesting Polybius took inspiration from the Project MK Ultra at the time of its creation.
Well, and you have to think around the time of MK Ultra, there was the craze of like what is it? Tune in, tune on, and drop out, and tune in or whatnot, which was like an entire like TV craze where it was basically encouraging kids to drop out of school and watch TV.
yeah.
That's
So it's
insane.
like program,
TV
program,
was
program,
getting
program.
huge then because that's when TV was getting to everyone's houses.
Yeah.
They were
Mhm.
buying.
More video game. The video game Outlast.
Nano, how about that?
MK Ultra. Call of
Hitman.
Duty Black Ops.
Yeah, several Call of Duties, Hitman.
Call of Duty Black Ops Black Cold War. Manhunt 2. Mafia 3. The Broadway musical We Will Rock You. That's a musical out there.
I
for
was
you.
in that. Oh,
MK Ultra is referred as
Yeah.
the Bohemians are brainwashed and experimented to become
Hell
vegetables.
yeah, I was Oz. I was one of them. Beach.
She was brainwashed.
I was. It was
Um,
great. It was fun.
Yeah, and then the Polybius. So, I'm gonna start with Nikolai here. Nikolai, what are your thoughts on MK Ultra and how much of this nonsense that we interrupted 14 times, and kind of like based on what you know and what you research? Because like I said, we did skip a lot and move around a lot because we don't want to be here for eight and a half hours, and we want to record maybe
Oh yeah.
bonus stuff here. But what is your thoughts on MK Ultra? How much do you think of it is still relevant, and how much do you believe of what? I cannot so much believe because it was
A lot of it is fact.
yeah.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
Yeah.
files saying it was real.
Yeah.
It's hard to
178
say that,
documents.
like,
Maybe the
it
results,
shouldn't
what they weren't,
Yeah.
what they
Not
wanted wasn't real.
that
But
it didn't
Do you think they
happen.
achieved what they set out to do? I think that'd be the
No.
overall question. Do you think they
Yeah.
achieved what they wanted?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of like how I was saying before we started, like that Jurassic Park thing, where it's like we, thought about whether or not we could, but why should we?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, you're going through this and finding out, like, medically what the effects are and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, if you didn't do any of that, you wouldn't know any different. The world would move forward. You would die at 30 or whatever it was, and yeah, you might know that there might be a better life, but at the same time, unless someone actually does something, you're not actually gonna know.
Yeah.
So I believe it happened. No, I don't necessarily think they got what they were looking for, but they did get a whole list of things that were like, oh, well, if we introduce this to this person, this is our outcome or whatever. Not necessarily mind control,
Yeah.
but there's like, we're gonna, because I like the one thing I watched was that they locked these guys in a room and had respirator masks on and stuff, and they were told they were going in for a common cold thing, and they put these things on their arms and they put little drops on them, and
Yep.
the whole thing was just to test how much of this drug they could actually take before killing them, and they didn't even find out till like way later that they were in a gas chamber.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
There
was like,
there was another one I read where when the funding was starting to get cut and MK Ultra was on its last legs, they lost a lot of their money and their funding. So it was like one last ditch effort because our government then turned around and said, "Yo, we need to get rid of all this shit." And a few of the scientists were like, "We need to hide our shit" because they wanted to keep their experiments going.
Yeah.
They took, I think, 300,000 whatever it is of LSD and went to like a zoo and shot an elephant with it
Yeah.
and like just to see what the elephant would do.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Spoiler alert, they killed it.
yeah.
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 turn into a super elephant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, how much of this do we need to overdose and kill
I wonder why
someone?
they were so fascinated with LSD though. Like, what made them think that was like the key to unlocking?
He's just
Mind
next on the
blowing.
list.
Because
I
it's-
think it was just fascinating to watch people on it,
Yeah,
and I think they were onto something where this can open a third eye or open something to experimentation, like because like I know LSD, DMT, mind altering drugs are people who feel like they connect to another realm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe they actually thought that there was legitimate.
Well,
way
I
to
mean, they
connect
have.
to
I mean,
that.
it's on file that Hitler would try occult tactics.
Mhm.
So it's like the idea of the government testing something for occult reasons is not that far off.
No.
Yeah.
So the idea of using somebody's like in crafting this drug in a laboratory that is specifically to alter your mind to reach another state, then can we go in and a lot of the people like can we make spies to do this? Can we make spies go in and like whatever and just kind of use people to discover secrets and to like, can I contact this person through their brain to see what they're thinking?
Yeah.
Remote viewing, which is a lot of the things the government does sometimes, but it's that same idea.
What's your take, Annie? And real quick, if there's anything that you researched that we didn't add, if you want to add it in as well, do that as
Yeah,
well.
I just quick looked at it. I didn't really listen to too many podcasts or anything about this. It's more of like a
Definitely
conspiracy
check out
thing.
the
I'm more on
Chilluminati. They did a great job.
Yeah, and they do other things too. I'm more on the monster and stuff side.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think that everything they did, they were trying to get something. They wanted to be able to make someone that could walk in and just like either they control that person's mind or that person walk in and control the minds of everyone in the room. And
Yeah.
they just didn't succeed.
Yeah.
But
Free.
I think it was kind of terrible how they went about
Yeah.
getting there. But
a lot of casualties.
you know,
A lot of casualties. Bree.
Oh, so I'm with Andy. I'm more into like ghosts, like monsters, ghost stories, stuff like that. Not so much conspiracy theories, but I do like to learn. So no, I don't think they accomplished what they were looking for either. I think that's probably never going to happen. And I agree. I don't like how they did it either. It's very sad and upsetting and disgusting. So yeah, but I'm glad they admitted their mistakes.
Yeah.
I wonder if they did create something that could actually read someone's mind or something. But then they were so
That's what I
fucked up
think.
that they just went down. Like they didn't
Yeah.
last very long.
This is where I guess my conspiracy side is going to kick in a little bit here. So you're going to be proud of me. All right.
Oh.
I think they told us enough of what they need us to know. I think they're like, fuck it. We'll tell them
150
this
things.
much. Realistically, they're not going to give a shit. Obviously, the families and the people who are affected will throw us some money. Like it's nothing to give the Olsen family a fucking couple $1 million because we spent 84 million fucking testing it. Like it's a casualty
Right.
of it. And they can just print.
Especially when you work on the dregs of society that don't have any family anyway.
Yeah.
So I think because here's a realistic thing: our government right now can come out and say, "Hey, you're all fucking sheep. We control you. We're taking everything away from you. Remember those rights you think you had? Go fuck yourselves." And most of our nation would be like, "Fuck it, we lose."
Haha, let's make a meme.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what
Realistically, we would just. They've already conditioned us to lay down and die. Like for the most part, they did. You know what I mean? We would fight each other before we fought them.
And we are
Yeah.
currently.
So when it comes to, obviously this is all declassified information, but I think they told us what we needed to know. Do I think they destroyed all the evidence? I don't believe that.
They had to give us something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even
got
evidence they
caught.
destroyed probably exists somewhere. Just for
Well, here's the idea too. Journalism has always been scrutinized and considered fake news depending on what angle you go to. But it's to the point where like sometimes a legit journalist goes out and gets something, and it's like, well, fuck, now we got to feed them a little bit of something. But even if they turn around in 10 years, or they wait even longer, they wait 40, 50 years, so it's probably not going to be our generation, or if it is, it'll be late in our generation. Like right now, the last family member of the Titanic passed away, and now we're learning a whole new story of the Titanic where they're like, hey, that ship was actually damaged,
Yeah.
and oopsie, we knew, but we didn't think we were going to hit a fucking iceberg.
And now we're going to disclose it
Oh, I
because
didn't know
all of the
that.
families are already dead and we don't have to pay them any sympathy.
Exactly.
money.
Yeah.
So
Oh, when did that come out?
they
recently.
snuck it in there. They sneak it out.
I
Yeah.
did not hear that.
Yeah,
at all.
there's photos out now where it actually shows the one side of the hull where it was destroyed before it left harbor. It's like literally blackened because what happened was a fire broke out in one of the bottoms, and it was so hot and burned for so long that it probably caused structural integrity damage to the bottom of the ship. So then when it hit, it just shredded like paper.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe if that damage wasn't there, hitting an iceberg wouldn't
They
have
would
been
have
so
they would
bad.
have steamrolled through it.
Yeah.
Oh, how horrible.
Yeah, and then because they didn't want to pay out, they waited for the last person to die that can legally claim anything, and then say, "Oops." So like,
Oh, we just found this information that we've been sitting on for generations.
Yeah.
What the hell
Wow.
kind of cruise goes to like a freezing temperature area?
well, to
Sounds,
go,
that sounds
do.
awful.
well, to go from England to America, and I believe they went in
In
the
the
middle
winter.
in the
In the
winter.
Was that the plan?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
It,
that
it
was.
wasn't so like we're gonna go somewhere cold. It's just
Yeah.
we need to go from
Take
one
this
side.
boat and go around Iceland.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I don't think a lot of cruise ships do that anymore. I don't think you could take a cruise ship from.
I think you can.
I
I
wonder
mean,
why.
there are. There are some.
There's some
there are
planes.
some
There's
that
some
take-
plane
But to
routes.
go from U.S. to
They-
Europe, I don't
Europe.
think there's any really.
They are now that they redid the Titanic. They and they fixed it. There's a new Titanic, and you can take that same route on the new Titanic from America to England if you want.
Hmm.
I thought about doing it. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
How long would that take?
I'm with you, Bill. He said we had a good mind controller and a president. Yeah, that's a great
The
way.
entire that my whole thing is the entire government
Yeah.
is one big mind control to fight for each of
we
us.
we
to
always
fight with
we
each
always
other.
argue we wanted the three-party system. Now we have it. We have Republicans, Democrats, and the Trump Party.
I'm waiting for my Libertarian Party to be acknowledged.
Never happened.
I want it now.
They're too progressive. We can't have that.
Exactly. They're too much. The Libertarian Party doesn't really go with our narrative because it doesn't put us in control. So sorry.
Like,
That's
uh-huh.
exactly why they're stunted.
We're not
because
giving
it's
we're not
less
giving the
government.
we're not giving the working class
less
enough
government,
money. Yeah.
more control for people. No, we
not-
would lose all of our assets.
We're not giving the working class enough money to actually live their lives because then they won't need us.
That's exactly what it is.
Bring the Libertarians back.
yeah.
Bring
Yeah,
them
3,000%.
Yeah.
I'll start a
So
chant.
so I'll say it's this topic has definitely stunted a lot of my belief systems in our government and made me
I love that day that you were
Less-
just like, I found out so much, and I was like, hold it be.
it made me less fucking like I don't know. Listen,
Less trusting.
next time I hear the song "I'm Proud to Be American," it's gonna have a different ring to me. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, it's fucking disgusting.
Japanese internment camp. There you
It's,
go.
it's but like realistically, like
That wasn't very good.
we have people
Yeah.
in camp right now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that Guantanamo's still around.
No, like on the Mexican border, we have people in camps
Yeah.
right now. Separated families, like
Yeah.
that's happening right now. like
It's never stopped.
it's fucking like I don't know. It's very like, and then you. But the thing is with this story, you can't turn around and say that there's no such thing as conspiracy theories because this proves that we are being plotted against or there's things behind our thing. And I can see Nikolai's point of view where it's like, hey, a few eggs need to be cracked to make an omelet. Like, is it terrible that these people were tested on? 100%. But like, I'm not saying or condoning what happened during Nazi Germany time, but a lot of that disgusting shit that happened advanced our medical field and technology light years ahead of what it was.
Actually, Tony, I was against it.
Wearing,
To be honest, I was okay dying at 30.
oh
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like,
what he said. He was
no.
just
That
like,
was
I
the whole
want-
point behind that. Was
no, I was saying I was
you
agreeing.
don't
I was
need
agreeing
to know
with
all
that sentiment.
information. No,
that- yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
But I was just like,
the same thought process. is
Right.
what I was telling- Yeah.
It's just at what cost is it to fucking learn something?
Mm-hmm.
But do I think we should take people out of their will and experiment on them?
No.
No, but it's just like fuck. It's real. It's a huge slippery slope because they can turn around and say like, "Hey, we can't tell you everything we're doing because then our enemies are gonna know." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those deals too. So it is like I said, it's a very very slippery slope. Do I think at the end of the day they learned how to mind control people? Do I think they mind controlled the Summer of Sam? Because like I said, this took a lot of spirals and turns. And did they mind control this person and that person? I don't buy into it. Like the girl from the movie Monster, the female serial killer who was going around killing people, and she said
Yeah.
she was using MK Ultra, but she was also someone who really dove into this topic and really obsessed.
Eileen, whatever. her
Yeah.
name.
She obsessed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it to the point where it was unhealthy. So here's
Well,
the thing.
what did happen? Go ahead.
The thing with any conspiracy theories, ghosts, cryptids, goblins, it's cool to open your mind to accept the possibility that these things may exist or you may be being played with or you may be going through this. But also you need to be very aware and you need to be very responsible on how you take this information in because there's people like we literally just had a bombing in what Tennessee was it Tennessee where the guy parked the truck outside.
Oh, yep.
You know, he was a conspiracy theorist. He literally thought that we need to destroy 5G towers because they're going to kill everybody and destroy. Luckily, only killed himself. I mean, it sucks that he's dead, but like, he only killed himself and he hurt 4 others, but destroyed half the downtown downtown area. But like, that's someone who took this to an extreme, extreme level. Like even if you don't trust your government and you're like, fuck that, I don't trust them. At the end of the day, you got to live your life at some point. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not
You
saying
can't let it to control you.
yeah, I can't. I'm not saying lay down and die, but maybe be more aware. You know what I mean? Like question things, but you can't get to the point where you have to go out and hurt other people because
Yeah.
regardless of who we are, us as the poor class, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, we're all in the you're fucked territory. If they
Yeah.
decide to flip the switch, we're the ones dying first, regardless. Even if they are slipping stuff into our medication.
And we already are. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if there's a huge population control coming, it's us dying, not them. You know what I mean? So like we need so just be really responsible. And that's what I want to do with this podcast too. Like if we're talking about conspiracy theory, I don't want someone to go out and be fucking and do harm to people or the things
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they fucking went down a spiral to hurt themselves or others or get themselves into a deep paranoia or depression to not trust their government. Just be aware, but be healthy about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. That's something I have to say about it.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're kind of wrap us up.
Sure. About my thoughts
Your
about
thoughts,
it?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you when it comes to it because I believe that I think they were trying to do it in the beginning, super covert, and then they realized like some of the experiments and everything, like with the concentration camps, like the whole world knew about it. And so I think at some point they realized that it got a little bit too messy. So there was no denying what was going on. And there were, of course, going to be survivors and family of survivors. And people were going to, at some point, be like, hey, this happened to my uncle and now he's dead. And then somebody like along the line would be like, hey, that also happened to my family member. So it got messy. So what they did, and I agree with you, is they put out just enough. They put out just enough that was just kind of like, you know what, we're really sorry. We're really sorry that this
There was
happened.
payments put out. We paid China, not China. We paid Canada.
Yeah.
Probably
Because
Canada.
the facilities
there's a
that
lot
we
of
use in
Canada stuff in
Canada,
there.
the facilities we use in Canada, a lot of those people didn't even realize that they were doing so much as wrong as they were because they were just following orders and taking their payments. And then these people, like Canadian civilians, were like, "Yo, fuck you," and our government's like, "Here's some money, shut the fuck up."
Yeah, sorry. But I think what then happened was with the cutting of the funding and whatnot, when it comes to like that stuff, I don't buy into like any of it because it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't really matter what leader of what country says that because they're all that UN, they're all together on whatever it is. That's my opinion. But what I think happened then was that I think they figured out what they needed to figure out. They figured out how to properly manipulate human beings and like the human species has been as much as possible. And then they took what worked and said, sorry for the stuff that didn't work. And now it's just like something where it's like, yeah, we'll disclose it, but we messed up and we're not doing it anymore. We promise, we're the government. We promise we're not doing it anymore, which is to me bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, how many things are we very aware that we are not aware of?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that something that happened so long ago, we're just putting the pieces of it together now? What happens in like 30, 40, 50 years from now when they're just like, sorry, after all you millennials die, like, sorry, like, we were doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of those things where every 40 years, every like 2 generations, once a certain generation has died off, like once all the boomers die off, what did they do to them?
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. One of the things I just wanted to add to that, I had it and I just fucking kind of lost it. Shit.
I just think there's so much and it comes like with the mind control and everything, where I had mentioned like the drop out and tune in, where it's like right off the get-go, they were very blatant about, don't worry about an education, just be pumped full of our messages and our cigarette commercials and just dance and segregated TV and blah, 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 and all this kinds of propaganda and whatnot. This is what we want you to believe. And so it's very easy once you flood like that guy that he was asleep for 82 days and they just kept telling him that you killed your mother and he woke up convinced and distraught that he killed his mother.
Yeah.
So when you're willingly like looking up things that like the TV and like movie people are saying, you should watch this, and then it becomes like, oh, okay.
Yeah. What I want to just add to this real quick is it's insane that a lot of this, from what we were told, their tests were with drugs, right? And then drugs became super illegal, but then they were dumped into impoverished neighborhoods for us
Yeah.
to then take, then criminalize us for taking them, and
Mhm.
then imprisoning people.
Yeah.
And most of those people are people of color or poor,
Yeah.
or just poor people in general. So I mean, I definitely think the effects and the stemming of of this program goes even deeper than just mind control. I think it's a lot of it might have to go into the war on drugs and
It's
the way
everything.
we handle that whole situation. Because of course you're going to be a government official terrified of fucking LSD because you've been pumping people over 10 times the actual dose of what a normal person would take. You can take, and this is maybe my rant on legalize everything, but like if you take anything at its purest form or its form that it's not harmful and do it in a controlled and safe environment, you probably won't die for most of it. Like, I'm not saying go out and do these drugs, but like heroin, people didn't die of heroin overdoses as bad as they do now because of the shit they put in the heroin to then kill people. Like, people weren't dying of really heroin overdoses when it was happening in the 70s and like, you know what I mean? Like, and they were taking a lot of it. You know what I mean? And then they started mixing it with stronger and better things and making it more and then people start dying.
More
Like,
attainable, even though
Yeah.
even though the government cleans their hands of it because they say it's illegal, we don't allow you to do it, and then in the back room they go throw it
Yeah.
in the back streets of Philly real quick. Like
Yep.
it's
it's definitely weird. Like, I don't know. It crazy to me how much they tested drugs that they were so super against on on people. It's like, I don't like this. Make me a huge batch of it so I can distribute it to the public.
yeah,
Like,
and make a lot of money and
Yeah.
keep all those people addicted to it now coming
Yeah.
back for more and giving me
Well,
more
if
money.
you're- if you're
And the same
spending-
thing goes with the sex work. They'll use
oh,
honeypots
we didn't even go into that.
yeah, like Operation or like Midnight Climax, where it's like let's criminalize sex workers, but at the same time we're using sex workers to get all of our information.
Well, here's the thing to think about here too, right? And this is what first thing I popped in. So if you go to a neighborhood with impoverished people and there's prostitutes, 9 times out of 10, who do you think the bosses are?
I don't know.
Probably like if it depending on what neighborhood you go to, it's probably some like black dude, right? Or black dude or a white dude, you know what I mean? Anything like that. So they want to go in and then make that neighborhood their territory. Do you think somebody might have been killed or put to prison? You know, now, listen, they are still doing something illegal by their standards because they're prostituting out women and making them work for them. But they would have never bothered that guy if they didn't want to take over his spot.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they,
I see what
they
you're saying.
arrested somebody so they can then do the crime they wanted to then commit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so
Where they're just like, you're doing something illegal. We want his territory. So,
Yeah.
like, we're going to put you in jail forever and maybe kill you or get you addicted to LSD. We'll see what happens. It's
Yeah.
a roll of the dice at
and
this
then
point.
the girls who were then doing so real quick, we didn't really get into Operation Climax, but like they would go in, they would bring these men in, give them LSD, have sex with women, and then the women would stay longer to then like be cuddle buddies, and then they would see how much that dude would tell the prostitute.
Yeah.
And then they would say to the prostitutes, hey, if you ever get caught, here's my business card, call me, and it's a get out of free jail card. So like they were being paid huge money.
Paid in freedom,
Yeah.
diplomatic immunity, basically,
Yeah.
and also drugs.
Yeah.
They
US
were-
government
yep,
funded it.
Yeah.
Crazy
It's very
stuff.
crazy, and it's all real.
Tori, what do you got to plug or wrap up on?
Just my logos, as you guys know, and like just my tarot reading and stuff.
Excited to see the new ones. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
What's the name for your tarot page? In case someone wants to contact
My
you?
tarot page? Well, just message me on my regular page because
Okay.
it's easier because I can't like keep up on the social media
Oh, okay.
pages.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Bewitched in Clover is my design one. But that's it.
Nikolai.
Damian McGinty released a new single today. He's
Ooh.
planning on writing a single every month and releasing it.
That's cool.
Oh,
So the
cool.
first one dropped today.
What's it called?
Fight This Fight.
Fight This Fight.
And he has an artist doing the album cover, or like the
Song cover. I guess
like
you
the
could say.
song cover
Oh,
thing
cool.
for each
Single.
of them that come out, and he's doing these packages where like you get a print of the cover signed
Oh,
by
that's
him and
cool.
stuff.
COVID
So-
brought back the idea of a single.
Yeah.
Like, it really did. Because like it's like, oh, I don't have the time to put out a thing, but I worked really hard on the time by myself
Yeah.
and made out this single. And then like the idea of a single became kind of popular again recently, which is kind of neat.
That is cool.
Andy.
Nothing.
Wrestling.
Well, there's nothing
Wrestling.
really wrestling wise.
It's okay. There's still videos of you out there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's videos. if you wanna
And there's a
go.
place you can buy your T-shirts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which we sold like 2 or 3. That's for
Really?
Pro Wrestling Tees. There's blue and gold shirts there. When I get my own shirt made, I'm not gonna get a shirt made though until wrestling gets back up because like.
Do you have
Point.
ideas of a shirt you want?
Yeah. Yeah. They do. So I want like a solo one for me. So like because like I don't want to sell my tag shirt when I'm at a show. It's just me because like well people are like well who's that guy? Well he's not here. And then, it just
Yeah.
it makes no sense. So they're on Pro Wrestling Tees. You can search for Blue and Gold, and there's Outbreak Wrestling on the YouTube, and also Pro Wrestling Empire. You can go on there and watch videos there. And then if you want to listen to more cryptid stuff, the Cryptonaut podcast.
Yeah.
It's very
And you
good.
can also check Andy out at Tornado Tag
Yes.
Podcast.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. And we also have a giveaway. We have a couple spots left. So if you want to enter the giveaway for Tornado Tag, head over to Tornado Tag Podcast community or the Facebook page and type I'm in. And we have 8 spots left to win a banner.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Win a band like what's behind us.
Yep.
Our wrestling theme.
Our old banner for Tornado Tag. That we're going to be getting another new one soon
Yeah.
because we added a member,
Austin's
Austin.
coming back.
Austin Blackman's joined the show. This
Steve Austin.
Steve Austin Blackman.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it was a wrestler named Steve Blackman too.
Yeah, I got something.
Yeah. Bree.
Not cool in high school podcast.
I love it. I love it. This week we're talking about Lucille Ball. We're doing the history of Lucille Ball.
This week.
Next week. Next Friday. Next Friday. Maybe starting earlier
This
next
time,
Friday.
maybe.
Yeah.
I think we're going to start around 7:30 possibly next week, depending on how we can all get here and if we can do that earlier time. The new member of the team may take a while to get here.
Yeah.
She has to drive and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sucks.
Get ready.
She fucking sucks.
So far. Such a far drive.
So yeah,
A
Tori.
far drive from upstairs.
Yeah, Tori is leaving us a Not Cool and being replaced with Heidi, my wife, which, oh my God, I'm so excited.
Which I think is a great fit because she knows a whole lot.
She
more
watches a
about
lot of
movies and
horror
shit
movies.
than a
Well,
lot
She
of
watches a
people.
lot of stuff in
She
general.
does,
Mhm.
yeah.
I honestly, with the whole Patreon thing, I think if she starts getting comfortable as a
The
podcast,
Heidi Show.
I may do like
Heidi on horror.
I may do
Aw.
a show with Heidi.
That's
where,
great.
Where,
I would love
where
that.
we're like
I would love to
like a
watch
husband
that.
and wife show. I'm not exactly sure what it'd be, but I got to get her more comfortable.
Just
in
don't
the
beat
podcasting.
each other up
You're
like
right.
somebody.
Just do the newlywed game.
Yeah. Because like I said, we I kind of pitched an idea to Nikolai, with me, Nikolai, and Heidi, where we watch a movie on Shudder
Ooh,
and then like
super cool.
review it, like a Shudder podcast or something, or just watch horror movies in general or movie.
Yeah.
And then that could be like the bonus
Shudder
content for Not Cool in High School too. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're on a Saturday. If anyone wants to come, and it's not just for us. It could be anyone who's a free, and we could do a bonus show here and there.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're gonna. I think this week we'll hold off on the bonus content. I won't keep you super late tonight because I really don't have an idea what I want to talk about anyway. So we're gonna mull over ideas of what we can add for our bonus content show. Maybe like a mini-sode type thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Like little stories that you really only talk about for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the big thing is, I think what we're gonna do is we'll give you a bonus content for each show, just to kind of wrap up. We said in the beginning, but a bonus content for each show. It'll be like a $5 a month thing. You go on Patreon, you sign up for it, and we'll give you a discount code for merch or a free shipping code. We'll give you the bonus content, audio and video versions of it, and we will really work diligently to give you bonus content. We're not going to make you pay the $5 and not give you content. You know what I mean? There will be stuff on there, but that's just for us to grow, get better, pay some bills here, grow as a podcast, get cool equipment, and stay up to time with everything so everything looks and sounds good.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Sorry, I have like this weird, like I feel like I have like not like,
Like
a
a
scratch,
sinusy
but
thing?
like a loogie kind of stuff, and I'm like drinking and trying to get it away.
Oh, I feel
Um,
that.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, when you sleep weird and you like sleep with your mouth open,
Yeah.
and you get. I think
And
that's
you're
what
just
I
like
did.
your throat's
Yeah.
like weird.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, like I said, it's like a $5 a month subscription on Patreon. It just kind of just help us grow. Our big
Yeah.
thing this year is we want to grow some revenue. I know this is tough. Times are tough for people, but I don't want to fill your closet up with 150 T-shirts or
Yeah.
It is awesome when someone
Unless
has a
you want to fill your closet.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
if you want to keep buying merch, you are fucking amazing for doing it. It helped. Like we don't get as much of a cut, but it is what it is. But it is really cool when you see people wear your
And
shit.
you're just walking around and you're like, that's
me.
my podcast.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. But we are trying to really find ways to grow. And right now, like to get monetization, you need to be like so many, like thousands and thousands of subscribers and viewers and
on
stuff.
the
And,
YouTube.
and
Yeah.
it's tough. It's a tough game out here. But we appreciate the people who are here. I'm not saying you have to pay for the subscriptions or anything, but we're gonna put it out there. If it goes over, we'll keep it. We'll try it for a month or two. If it's not a thing, we'll delete it and we'll figure something out. But yeah. So that'll do it. Not Cool in High School podcast. Huge thank you once
Not
again.
well, not
No.
Truth
Truth
behind
behind
the
illusion.
illusion.
Truth behind
Wrong
illusion.
one.
Next is
Jeez.
not cool in high
Read the
school.
banner.
Yeah, my God.
I literally turned to look at it. Once again, huge thank you to our brand new intro, outro music, the Casket Company,
Yes.
and their song "The Mothman Emerges,"
Yeah.
which is, if that is a fitting song for this podcast, I don't know what to tell you.
Heck
We
yeah.
got rid of our exclusive song because we just don't want to be looked down upon anymore. So it is what it is. Have a great day. Shots fired. See you next time.